Expansion.
Guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Expansion. We have a lot of talent and beauty and female essence. Finally, thank you. Our second female guest. She's in the building tonight. We're all very excited. Lisa Viola.
Woohoo! What an
Welcome
intro.
to the show.
Thank you.
No, please. Thank you for joining
There's an
us.
applause, Paulie.
Yeah, I know.
Paulie.
He must be feeling very generous because
outdoing yourself.
normally he makes you earn it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank
But
you.
it
I
must,
just earned it on the way in.
it must be
It
the...
was the legs, wasn't it?
Oh!
I wore a
Paulie's
short
going
skirt
red.
just for you, Paulie.
Wow, 2-0. Very quick thank you. Lisa, thank you, Paulie, as well for joining us. He's going absolutely red-faced in the production desk over there. Shout out to my man Paulie, always got my back. Welcome, Lisa V.
Thank
Lisa
you.
Viola.
Yes, Lisa
How you
Viola.
doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm good. Only the
Dancer?
second female.
Second female.
I'm always like just repping for the ladies. There's a problem.
That's good. Yeah, I definitely think more females in the studio, very much appreciated. We are working on it.
Yeah, good.
It just so happens that boys tend to have a lot of boys.
Yeah, that's it.
You know
That's
what I mean?
it.
And but definitely on the
Awesome.
cards, many more women, as is needed everywhere in the world, because
Absolutely.
female presence is, I think, a
Exactly.
positive.
Our voice
you
needs
know?
to be heard.
Yes, and in positions of power and
Exactly.
everywhere in society. You know, we need more maternal, feminine energies in the halls of power.
Okay. Well, not every female is maternal, though. That's a very...
No. You don't have to be maternal, as in.
I'm not going to go here with you. It's
Yeah,
fine.
okay, cool. Okay, fair enough.
Let's
Thank you
just-
for that.
let's
High five. She sucked me out of that
Yeah,
vortex.
that's it.
So Lisa Viola, dancer,
Dancer,
singer,
singer,
songwriter.
songwriter.
I'm gonna say it.
Mm-hmm.
Influencer.
Oh, yes. I'm an influencer.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take it. I don't
Yes.
care. I don't
No,
get,
of
I don't
course you
get
have
caught
to.
up on
I'm giving it
titles.
to you.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Um,
Some artists get really quite funny about this influencer thing. I'm like, show
Yeah.
me the money.
Exactly.
I don't care.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome Instagram.
Thank you.
Awesome tracks. I know
Thank you.
most of them.
Yes.
Obviously. Very lucky. And for all the guys that don't know you,
Mm-hmm.
African Australian.
Yes. African Portuguese,
Yes.
but live in Australia. Was
Uh-huh.
raised in Australia.
Angola and Portugal.
Yeah.
Você quer fazer o show em português ou
não.
em inglês?
Não, só quero falar inglês. Meu português não é muito bem.
Eu posso fazer o show em português se você quer
No,
também?
não tenho vergonha. You're going to embarrass me because my Portuguese is really not as good as
Well,
my
bem-vindo.
mother would like it to
Okay,
be.
cool, not a problem. Well, you got a long life ahead of you to work on your
Yeah,
Portuguese,
well,
hopefully, God willing.
Yeah, that's it.
Mama's Portuguese.
My mother's Angolan.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got that wrong.
No, that's okay. And then my father was Portuguese. Yeah.
And in Angola, you guys speak a lot of Portuguese.
That's our national language because we
Okay,
were
cool.
colonized by the Portuguese.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that
Yeah,
history because,
you know a lot, I think.
well,
Because you love Che Guevara and all that.
Of course.
Yeah, well, he fought in our war.
That's right,
So,
the Cubans. That's
yeah.
right. They defended you against
They did.
the South African militias.
And UNITA, which
Yeah.
I'll always be grateful for. 'Cause
They wanted
it's-
that. They wanted that oil, right?
Yeah, well, look, everyone wanted everything. So we've got oil, we've got diamonds,
Sure.
it's Southwest Africa. So it's
Yeah,
rich in
resource
lots
rich.
of, And so we had
And-
South Africans in there, we had the Russians in there, we had Che Guevara in there.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a
Crazy
very
times.
crazy history that wasn't very well documented considering.
No, I think a lot of people don't even know. Actually, people that might even be quite sort of read up on even Cuban Revolution and stuff like that, that once Cuba was kind of settled, let's say, the revolution had triumphed, they embarked on an international revolution where they supported other countries
Yeah.
to take up struggles.
Yeah.
And one of those, of course, was Angola,
Yeah.
Mozambique.
And they're big. Well, they're colonized
think
with
so.
Portuguese. I'm not too sure.
I think so as well. But I know
Yeah.
in Angola, I remember having this conversation once, many moons ago, because I've known you for a long time, that there are even like national songs about, the revolution struggle, and there's lots of images of Cuba in the country and statues
heaps.
and stuff
Che
because of
Guevara.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And even on our national flag, we've got
Exactly.
the communist star.
yeah, that's right.
So it's still very...
Very interesting for all of you guys that don't know your history. If you
I'm
don't
still
know,
learning though. Look, it's one of those things. There's just so
Sure.
much to learn, and every time you read up something different and hear different stories. But like I said, it's not as well documented, I
Yeah.
think, that, as it should be compared to some maybe European struggles.
Of course,
of
course.
Angola was kind of one of those forgotten countries, and it was
Yeah.
just,
yeah.
deep
I
West
think
Africa.
all these smaller nations of the world the poorer nations of the world don't get as much limelight.
Which is interesting though, because
Yeah.
it's actually the fourth largest country in Africa, so it's quite a large country.
Yeah, I mean, not so much in landmass,
Right.
but I mean in power and
Yeah.
wealth,
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and of course you have countries which may or may not be powerful. Like China is very powerful, but we know very little about their stories because they don't have a Hollywood or
Exactly.
or all these
To commercialize
usual
it.
channels that we've had from the West for such a long time. South America included. There's lots of cool stories down there, as there is
Yeah.
everywhere in the world, in
Yeah.
Africa and
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
So,
That's right.
but your story begins where?
Where I was born,
Sure.
Luanda, which is the capital,
Uh-huh.
and then,
Angolesa.
yes, and then we moved to Europe for a year, and then we
Yeah.
moved to Australia.
Okay.
And so I was 5 when we got here. I didn't know a word of English,
Sure.
which is so shameful because now my Portuguese is so bad.
Sure.
But
What
I think,
changed?
I like to blame it on the fact that I had to learn English really quickly. I
Yeah.
basically landed and had to go straight to school, and I didn't know a word of English. I remember saying to my mum the first day of school, like, how am I going to ask to go to the bathroom? Like, I didn't even know how
Yeah.
to. And so within 3 months, my mother recalls I had learnt
Wow.
the majority of English. And then it was, like every immigrant family going home and teaching my parents
Okay.
English,
Yep.
So, and then you just lose it because you're teaching them. So you're always speaking English at home, and the only time that they speak to you in your native tongue is when they're yelling at you. So it just became, that's what, my major language was. And then being in Perth, it wasn't as immigrant rich as it is here
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
the East Coast.
You hear that a lot from people that ended up in, say, less multicultural areas or
Exactly.
smaller
So
tauns.
we had
Yeah.
like a few friends that spoke Portuguese, but I didn't have any personal friends like
Sure.
as a kid growing up that spoke Portuguese. So I
mainly,
was
mainly,
always
mainly Aussies and
yeah. Well, when I
Yeah.
say Aussie, it's like descendants of like English immigrants and
Sure.
things like that. So and I had a lot of English friends, even that were born in the UK but immigrated to Perth. Perth is very English, South African.
lots of South Africans.
Lots of
in
South
Perth.
Africans,
Yeah, true. Very true.
Croatians. We have, the Fremantle port, so we have that beautiful, like, rich European culture there, which is
there.
very Italian,
Sure.
Croatian,
Fishing?
Macedonian.
there a lot
Yeah,
of fishing
there's a
there?
lot of fishing in
Yeah.
WA as well. So
That's probably why.
it was just really different, and I grew up there most of my life. I only moved to Sydney when I was 25.
Oh, okay. Like 2
So-
years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Raf. Woo, high five. Yes.
You're welcome.
He's on my team. Yeah, but exactly. So I was already established. I was
Yeah.
already like a grown ass
Were
woman.
you already singing in Perth?
Yeah, I was. So mum enrolled me in like ballet when I was like 5. So
Uh-huh.
I've been on stage since I was 5,
Okay.
which is really cute because my niece, who turns 5 this year, she did her first ballet concert this year,
Oh.
and that's exactly how old I was when I did
Watch
my
out.
first ballet concert.
Uh-huh.
She didn't stack it in full on her face like I did my
Okay.
first concert. She actually killed it, but that's another story. So yeah, I was always in performing arts, so
Yeah.
I was just addicted. I just loved it, and then I just always did it. And then jazz, tap, acrobats, and then I was spending all my time, like kids would go out and do stuff. I was in rehearsal or practicing or getting my friends together to put a play together or do a dance recital. Like that's just all I wanted to do. I was singing into, and this is really going to expose my age, I had a cassette player and I could record myself on a cassette player.
See if my maths are good.
Right? And I was like singing into that, that's all I just knew I wanted to do. I remember I had a premonition when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old of being on a stage with like a sea of people, and I was like 4. So I just knew that I wanted to be on stage. And I don't know. It wasn't like a vain thing, like I want everyone to look at me. It was just
Yeah.
that I just knew that was my path
Like your nature
from
almost.
a really
Yeah.
early age. And it didn't scare me. Like I just loved it. Yeah.
Awesome. Because obviously that's how we met, also through the clubs. But most of us out there would know you as a singer.
Yeah. Well, it depends which...
And a performer, because
Yeah.
you've done a lot of dancing as well.
Yeah, a lot of dancing.
Your dancing style or preferred style, or
Mm-hmm.
if you had to call yourself a style, what style would that be?
I would say I'm a commercial dancer. That's just kind of broad.
Sure.
But I feel like, I go and I dance with the Afrobeat dancers. Like a lot of people know me as like the Afrobeat dancehall girl.
You've done a lot of that.
I've done a lot of
Yeah,
that.
a lot of videos and stuff. Really cool stuff over the years.
And I'm so proud of that, and I love that for so many reasons. But I came to Sydney and I'd never done an Afro class before. I was African. Like I just knew how to move, and I loved the music, and that's what we were raised on. So when I moved to Sydney, I was doing hip hop, commercial jazz, and I did all my training. So ballet, tap, like I said, all the I was lucky. A lot of girls and guys do the street dance thing because maybe their parents couldn't afford everything. And I still to this day, because my mum was a single mum for a long time, I still don't know how she afforded half of my shit. Like, because I was in every routine.
Respect to your mama and respect to all the single mamas and all the mamas of the world trying their best to raise their little ones.
Through.
Yeah,
and I never felt like I went without. Like I was always there. I always had the shoes, the tights, the hair, the 101 costumes. I was in every second routine. They'd have the end of year concert and there'd be maybe like 20 routines. I was like changing in the wings, like ready for the next. I was in everything. And I don't know, maybe, God bless, maybe my teachers back then too saw it and they just were like, yeah, just put her in, and maybe didn't, charge. And I've heard stories like that too.
Hopefully.
So, that was really cool. So when I moved to Sydney, I was a commercial dancer. I had already run my own business. I started my business when I was 23, and I had that for 2 years, which was an entertainment school. So singing, dancing, and I was in Southwest Australia at the time, Western Australia. Sure. So it was like down south from Perth. It wasn't quite in the city.
Yeah, because you guys also from kind of the country in WA, no?
Yeah, so my family was always in Perth, but I, was like 22, thought I was in love, met this guy, met my dreams, got engaged, moved to the country, started my own business, because what do you do in the country? And I wasn't one to sit around and do nothing. I should have, though. I'm so stupid now. I think back.
How long were you there for?
And I'm like, I just sat pretty and done nothing. I was down south it was like 4 years all up.
Okay.
Yeah, or nearly 4 years all up. But yeah, I was just like,
enough
go.
Enough to call yourself maybe a little bit of a country girl.
Enough to appreciate country life and know exactly what that's about. Like knowing what it feels like to have your neighbour's kids like doing cartwheels on your front lawn and hanging out, like knocking on the door going, hi, like all that stuff. Like going to the local store. There's only one Coles in the whole town. There's like 2,000 people and everyone knowing who you are and you knowing everyone and you knowing everyone's kids by name. Sure. And like when you're the dancing teacher in a town of 2,000 people, you're like a superstar.
Like a politician.
Every kid knows you. And if you make their kids happy, if you work with children, you understand this. If you make someone's child happy, they just adore you. People adore you because that's all you live for. You live to make your kids happy. So
must have really stood out in small town
WA.
Like Lisa
the
Viola.
Only black girl. I was the only black girl, and I was teaching hip hop, so they were just like, oh my god, like they just thought I was the best thing. So I had the best time, and that taught me like business. That taught me marketing. That taught me confidence, and it taught me to like do more. Like I remember always telling my kids like, because I was from the city to them, I was from Perth. And, I took them to the dance comps and stuff. And I was like, we can win this. And they were just like, these kids are like, oh. And I was just always trying to fill them up with that hope.
City
of like,
energy.
I was like, come on, let's go. So my hip hop troops would like win the like little like dance contests down there and stuff. And it was always just instilling in them the stuff that I had learnt, which is like, visualization, like before you perform and like, just really having that, believing in yourself and like pulling. It was more than just dance. It was like life lessons.
A little bit deeper.
Yeah, and I always wanted to really, and to this day, like I still have those kids following me on social media.
I'm sure.
And they still reach out. They're like, hey, like we miss you. Like,
that's awesome.
And that to me is more important than anything. Like I always say, like I could die tomorrow and I know that I was like, I did more than just. Yeah. Because in this entertainment game, like it can be very self-seeking.
Yeah, I think very fulfilling, right? I mean, obviously...
To do more than just entertain. Like
but what you did, what I'm trying to say. That's like teaching kids and stuff like that. Like we had my brother Joshua Sassan from New Zealand on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. And, he's like world standard, world standard, international standard, world champion. And they do a lot of teaching.
Right.
And I just find people involved in the arts, generally speaking, have that little bit more happiness about them or more grounded perhaps or a little more earthed than other people, because I think it's much more fulfilling than just paying the bills, what they're doing, right? Very passionate and also you're seeing the improvement in people, you're seeing their journey, you know what I mean? And you're
learning too.
Of course.
Like you learn so much because you see your own insecurities reflected in these kids. And if you're trying to tell them not to be that way, you're telling yourself.
Okay, yeah.
So there was a lot of that. And that's why I moved to Sydney. Like my relationship had fallen apart. And I was like, well, what am I doing here other than my business? That was the only thing keeping me there. And I was like, I tell these kids every day to go for their dreams. Every day. And I'm like, I need to be the example. Like, you have to get to a point where, you know, I felt like personally, if I didn't go for my dreams, then that, you know, that's more important than telling them. So I just was like, well, I got to do this for me, but I also got to do it for them. Like, let me show them, you know.
It's almost like that practice what you preach thing, you know?
Always. And kids will learn that way. You know, kids will learn more from watching you do something. Not that I was a parent, I had to take that on board or anything. It was just more that as their teacher, I took it seriously, and I wanted to be like, okay, cool. Well, what do I really want to do? I preach this shit every day. Let me just do it. And then I moved to Sydney, and I tried to keep that business going. So I had some like substitute teachers, and I was trying to like run it. And in hindsight, I wish I'd worked harder to keep it going, but it just got really hard, as you know, when you're not present to be there to run the business and things.
It's
you know,
a big challenge.
Yeah, I went from, I think I had 100 students to like 40 or something in 6 months.
And the thing is, Perth might as well be like, you know, on another country because it's so far away, right?
It was like, far away.
An hour to hour flight and, you know.
But it was good because I was
4 or
here
5
in
hours
Sydney.
to Perth, no? 4.5?
4.5, yeah.
4.5 hours to Perth.
I was here in Sydney. I was just doing like the invoicing and, you know, trying to manage the teachers and stuff. But it's just, but and then when I got here, I was just like, let's go, like all out.
Had you come to Sydney previously? Like, so you had some networks and you knew some people and
I knew one person in Sydney.
Massive network.
Yeah, one person. And actually she ended up being my entire network. It was Kerry.
Okay, wow, really?
Yeah, so Kerry's from Perth.
Señorita Rolando.
Yes, oh my
Really?
God, yeah.
She's
not
from Perth
Rolando
too.
anymore. She's married now.
Oh, sorry about that. I knew that. I always remember being, you know how nowadays, modern era, because of social media, you actually know people's surnames. Like back in the day, no one knew your surname.
Nah.
Really, think about it.
Yeah. And your family. Like, I feel like, you know, my favorite thing to do, I don't know if you guys do this, but I scroll through my Facebook feed and like look at all the kids' faces and try and guess whose kid it is. Do you do that?
No.
Oh, it's fun. You should try it.
Paulie,
my feed.
Put that on your list of
Maybe
things to do.
you don't have enough kids on your feed, but I have so many kids on, so I'm just like scrolling through.
Let's just say there's more and more.
Right, there's more and more, right? And then it's like first day of school is my favorite. I'm just like scrolling through, trying not to look at who it is and like guessing who the kid is. Like, yes, that's got to be that person's kid. That's got to be that person's kid.
We need to give this game.
That's funny you should mention that because the other day when we went to Seventy's birthday, like before there was like a proper party. Now it's all got kids, little kids.
Yeah, it changes.
It
changes.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Well, this game of yours, we need to give it a name, perhaps, and then we can, you know, make that a thing. Maybe. You never know. I might pass on it. Just saying.
You don't seem that excited. I find it fun. It's entertainment.
So in Sydney, obviously, compared to Perth, much bigger city.
Yeah, just
lights,
energy,
whatever, energy. Yeah.
Huge.
And is this when you become sort of more of a singer, or were you already singing in Perth?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you did ask that. I was always on stage. Then when I think it was like 17, I started a cover band. So from the age of like 18, when I was legally allowed to be in clubs, which I started performing in clubs when I was 15, but legally allowed to be in clubs, we were doing like cover band shit. Like Perth is cover band city. So I worked 3 days a week, every week. That's what I'm saying. Like kids usually out partying, I was working.
Sure.
And partying a bit, but you know, I was working.
It goes hand in hand sometimes.
Yeah, and even the club thing I never got to get that cool feeling of it because I was
really
always in the club already before anyone was in there. I could smell the cigarettes on the floor, and I was done with it. Like
none
it
of
wasn't
that mystery or taboo about it or anything. It was just like,
I knew all the all the people that ran clubs and stuff. It was just like,
and
whatever.
that's probably how you've felt ever since.
Yeah,
like me.
Yeah.
Walk into a club, it's cool and whatever, but I'm just like...
It's just like, I'm here for work.
It's like an office. Yeah, exactly. Even want to go into other people's places.
Yeah.
I think that the problem is that we see things that others don't.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously,
and
the more you've done inside the club,
the
more you kind of know, okay, you know, whatever. But
and also people that they're usually are drunk or intoxicated and, you know,
and you're not
drugs.
in that frequency, so it's like, what am I doing here?
You're just like, oh gosh, you're going to wake up in the morning and we're going to shit here and that. Still being that person.
Well, the solution for that is you have a couple drinks yourself and it's all good.
Yeah, which is hard to do when you're working or performing, I feel.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I find it really hard to drink before I perform. I have like maybe one.
In my background on stage, prior to going in, we didn't practice that, no.
You didn't practice.
It was drink a lot.
Drink a lot, right?
Drink a lot, get fucked up in it. Yeah.
And that's another female thing. The
Yes,
industry
indeed.
female
Yes,
thing.
indeed. Yes, indeed. Because I've been involved in some, let's say, like higher end touring stuff. You know, where we've had, you know, big time sort of female artists and stuff, and there's definitely a difference. You can feel it. I mean, obviously the guy, you know, it's like, well, you know, what's up,
and they can get up on stage and be fucked up.
That's right. That's right. Whereas, but even the don't put pressure on Paul. He's already struggling.
He's already stressed about my legs.
Yes, indeed. He wishes that camera 3 would have been a little bit wider, but no.
Wow, guys, like, you make me sound like
Well, she's making me do it, man. I'm sorry, Paulie. My
We're
apologies.
getting in there before you start.
Sorry,
you know,
yeah, you
that's
can
right.
swear.
Just beating me down, bro.
Yeah,
You guys can swear. Not
Yes.
like Abe swearing, but
Oof.
just a little.
Uncle Abraham. You know, MC
Oh,
Abe?
yeah.
He's
AB.
a foul-mouthed motherfucker.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
AB.
is.
Yeah,
Surely you knew that before you asked him in.
I'll tell you a story about Abe. If we come around to it, I'll tell you a story about Abe.
I love Abe.
I'm wondering if I should tell the story. No, I was just saying that, so you've come to Sydney. You'd already done some singing
Performing.
in Perth, lots of
but
performing.
Hadn't really released a track before.
So no songwriting yet, as far as
I'd
released.
done always songwriting. Like even in high school, I
Okay,
was like
cool.
going in the lunchroom writing friends with my friend who played piano. I always did songwriting. I just was never that confident,
You
to
had
be
your
honest.
books of scribbles and
Yeah.
lyrics and things.
I was just never very confident. I was always like, because the dancing just came naturally.
Sure.
And it was just, I just could do it. I don't know how to explain it. It was
Yeah.
just like, Lisa's the dancer. Everyone was like, dancer. But in my heart, I was like, I really want to try this singing thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the balls to do it until I was like mid-20s.
Okay.
So when I came to Sydney, it was just...
Interesting that, 'cause normally, you know, when we're young, we're quite sort of confident and a bit more, there's a bit more go about us, I think.
Yeah, but I was already doing the dancing. It wasn't like
Sure.
I was missing it. It was just
You were
that
just
I
more
wasn't. It
comfortable as a
wasn't there
dancer.
yet. I
Yeah.
just wasn't there yet.
Sure.
And that was a part of the transition, you know, because I did everything I wanted to as a dancer. I'm very methodical. Like I don't know if you guys do like star signs, but I'm Capricorn, so I'm
Sure.
very like I just don't fluff around. I'm
Yeah,
very
yeah,
like this
yeah.
is what I want.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I remember having like this checklist in my head when I got to Sydney. I want to do a music video with a big artist. Check. I want to do a tour. Check. I want to do a movie. Check. And I did all these things. And then I was like, now what? And I was like, there's got to be more.
Sure.
And then I was songwriting already. And that's how it happened because I had met some friends through Corinne. Bless up, Coco.
I want to talk a little bit about Corinne, but maybe later.
Right, yeah.
In the show and tell
Yeah.
section.
Okay, yeah.
Because
So-
seeing you, I mean, thinking of you is thinking of
Coates.
Corinne
Yeah.
and that whole
And
crew
Red
when we met
Room
back in
and-
the day.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And then I was in my dance crew. So we had an African, like an all-girl African-Australian dance crew.
sure.
And then I was already writing some stuff. And then I showed the girls my song. And they were like, this is so cool. Like, let's do it. Because we were kind of one of the first groups doing the whole YouTube and creating content to put it out.
I've seen a lot of it.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
back then it was just like you just dancing.
Yeah.
But we were like, no, let's make videos. And we
Interesting.
were one of the first crews to do I think it was Elephant Man. And that video is still up on YouTube. It's got like over 2 million hits or whatever, which is
Awesome.
nothing these days. But back then we hit 1 million views in
Well,
like 6 months and we were so excited.
You know, we are in Australia, so you know, everything sort of numerical, let's say, is nothing like the Americans or even like Europeans.
Yeah.
Our markets.
Excuse me.
Yes.
What movie was it?
Oh, we did the
The Wreckers?
The Wreckers. The Wreckers?
The Wreckers Ball? Is that it?
No. that I did a dance? That I danced
No,
in?
you said you were in a movie.
Yeah, I've been in a few, but the big one that we did was The Great Gatsby, and I was a featured dancer in that. Yeah. So we were in a
That's
scene
pretty
with
good.
Leonardo.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we were like, okay, as a dancer, there's this is what you can do
That's
as
right.
a dancer.
Yeah.
Like choreography wasn't my thing. It just wasn't. Like I don't know if that part of that, part of my
Sure.
brain is
Yeah.
I'm not like
You mean creating choreographs?
yeah,
or- okay,
yeah. I
sure.
could do it, and I did it really well for my dancer
Yep.
Stepfords and stuff. But on the next level, and when I got to
Yeah.
Sydney, I realized that I was really not great at choreography.
Yeah, I
Like I was
getcha.
working with like Tiana Canterbury, and
Shout out to Tiana, man.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And she really she took me under her wing, and I just everything I know as far as the Afro dancehall world is thanks to her.
Man, I remember seeing her on So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah.
And so powerful and graceful and just awesome.
Yeah.
And then obviously her look, which is completely different.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike Champion.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Champion family.
Yeah.
We're going to be shouting out a lot of people on the show, I think.
Because we know everyone.
Well, I mean, you know a lot of people in Sydney. I know a few people too, so we'll combine shout outs, hopefully. What's the name of the African group again? I always fuck it up.
Saya Banyana.
Saya Banyana. That's a beautiful name.
Yeah, we sat down in Tiana's living room one day and we're like, what are we going to call ourselves? And Banyana means the girls in like South African, and then or Zulu, I think. And then Saya was South Africa, Ethiopia, and Angola, which is where all the girls were from.
We
just made it up as an acronym.
Very good name.
Yeah, I thought so.
It's got a lot of meaning.
Yeah.
And it sounds, I was going to make reference only to its sound. I mean, phonetically it's beautiful, Saya Banyana.
Yeah, but it was an acronym.
It sounds nice and flowing. And
right?
Yeah, very nice.
So I think there was a song called Banyana Banyana, and like we were listening to it or something, and they were like, Banyana would be cool, we should call it, because it means the girls.
Sure.
And then we thought, we wanted to represent, and it was really important for us to do something that was African, because we felt in the industry, and there's a lot of talk about this now, but 10 years ago,
no, much less so,
and it was just very obvious, like, casting agents would only see, like they would only take one girl of color, like, things like that. So we wanted to do something that was like, well, no, like, and there was also a need and a want for it, because a lot of artists would come over to Australia and want like black backup dancers or black girls, right?
Support dancers,
So we were just like, well, let's just create our own little thing. And we're really, I'm so proud of my whole journey, because I really felt like it was part of the whole Afrobeats and dancehall, whatever, movement.
Sure.
Because it wasn't mainstream back then.
No.
Like, no one knew who Elephant Man was. Like, it was all very, and a lot of people still don't. But do you know what I mean? Like, it all just evolved, and now Wizkid is like one of the biggest artists in the world. Like Davido, or you know what I mean? And that was all part of all these little tiny hot pockets in the world of people like representing this culture, this style, this sound, and again, it was for a bigger meaning.
Yeah, it reminds me very much of reggaeton. I mean, the birthplace of all those rhythms obviously is Africa. Actually, more so West Africa than anything else, I believe. And then obviously the distortions through Latin America, and then the Caribbean, with reggae and everything else. But as far as I remember, I can't think of any other African female group, anything. Of that, not only of that level, just not on any level, really. I'm sad to say. I mean, I'm sure there were some other girls somewhere doing more, but really unique.
But again, we were all about commercializing it. Like I said, it was always the videos and stuff. I'm sure, and I remember seeing girls, we do African community events. And there were always other groups. But we were I guess we just weren't afraid. And we had Mike, who was, good behind the camera, so he would like take footage of us.
Well, lots of experience as well, and lots of talent as well. And
I'm going to take credit for the marketing, because I had a business, so I knew marketing. So I was such a social media savvy person. I was always like, social media, Facebook page, everyone posting, everyone commenting, like YouTube, like I'd set everything up, set up the website. I was very like a marketer. So with Tiana's talent, with the choreography, the girls, the spice, the pizzazz, and I was in the marketing, like we were just like, let's just fuck
and
this
all
up.
those slightly different looks as well within the brown sort of rainbow. It was beautiful.
Exactly. And then we ended up getting into that TV show on Channel 10 with Kelly Rowland and Jason Derulo. We won our section. Unfortunately, the show got canned like midway through, which was horrible. Yeah, one of the directors.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, one of the directors got fired, and a bunch of shows that he had put on Channel 10 got fired as well. I mean, the show wasn't doing that well.
Talk about bad timing.
It was bad timing, but we still got our money because we won. So we're like, yeah.
Oh, really?
I
think
we won, was it 10 grand or something?
Yeah, I mean, there's many incredible, beautiful things about this country that we live in. But one of the things that I often feel is that, and a lot of people agree, is that we're a little lacking in this sort of socio-cultural kind of, music and arts, let's say. Not that there isn't anything going on down here, but I feel like we should have a lot more local everything, like even like dancers, arts, bands, performance spaces, public performance spaces, even more busking, and maybe less pokies.
Yeah. Well, it's supply and demand, right?
It
so,
is.
unfortunately, the culture here, if the culture of what people want to see and what they want to do doesn't change, then there's not going to be enough space
Indeed.
for the arts. So,
Yeah.
it's just not the culture here.
It's
to
yeah.
go
The
out
grassroots.
and-
The grassroots is not there, right? I think that's what we can
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
on.
But then again, you think about where we live. Like, it's Australia with the beaches and this and that. Like, you can't kind of blame people. You just have to look at it for what it is. Like, when you're in the
Yes.
UK and it's cold and it's dreary and it's horrible, you're looking for things to, like, warm your soul
well,
a little. You know?
speaking of our beaches, perhaps
Beach parties. Remember
yes,
that?
we could be. They could be a little bit more relaxed in our beaches, and
yeah.
we could have some beaches that were a bit more friendly to bars and perhaps some little stages popping up. I mean, whilst we're going into it, my tiny little country in Uruguay in South America, come summer and even throughout the year, there are massive beach parties. I'm talking tens of thousands of people. Free entry, because what happens is the government gets together with a big sort of telco and a big alcohol company and Coca-Cola, and they put on this massive, on this massive gig. We don't see a lot of that.
No. And I wonder why that is. I mean, you'd probably have more of an insight because you dealt with a lot of councils.
There's definitely, I think the onus is too much on the promoter. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like there's all these systems and rules in place that you kind of got to jump through all these hoops to get to your event, where it should be like, let's do it, we come to you type more thing, it's a very, very different. And also I think the approach, generally speaking, here is like, parties and alcohol is a very bad thing. Like it's.
Why do you think that is?
I think traditionally speaking, Anglo-Saxon cultures have that kind of more drink and brawl type thing happening. If you think of England and Ireland and even the United States and of course here in Australia.
It's funny you say that because I feel like then the Anglo-Saxons would say, oh yeah, they've been trying to shut down every African club or every like Islander club because they're like, they drink and they brawl. Like,
yeah.
So,
true.
like you can see, I don't know, like what's...
No, well, I think then we kind of cross over into more that kind of sort of tribal gang mentality that sometimes creeps through in some of these, so-called minorities, where, a whole bunch of boys from one culture or one nation kind of get together and... sort of being young and full of testosterone, and then with some drinks added and maybe even some drugs, that's all it takes to light a fire. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? But no, one of the things that I have referred to before is a perfect example of where I find we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot. Bacardi Latin Festival used to be a major calendar event in Sydney, used to run for almost 2 weeks straight in the middle of January in Darling Harbour. And it was sponsored by Bacardi, and we had major international Latin festivals. They used to put a massive floating stage onto Darling Harbour and all the after parties. It was like insane, right? Yeah. Until the government decided to ban alcohol sponsorship in events and stuff. And
it's always going to be the alcohol companies that would have sponsored
indeed,
these things.
because they can directly sort of contribute and also get out of the events. But anyway, we have some photos of Saibanyana to show a little bit later in the show, so we'll come back to that, I'm sure, and we'll shout out all those girls individually as well, because there was five of you.
Yeah, there were 5, and then there was 6, and then there were 4. It just depended on what.
All right, we'll settle on 5.
The long answer.
Well, it's like when people ask me how many members de la Familia had, it's like, right. Okay, which generation? Yeah, kind of like that. And the first single comes out when, and what's it called?
My first single was Bounce With It, and it was a collab with some Jamaicans. Sure. Who, it was through Korean. It was a link up through Korean.
Of course.
And they'd send me a song. Yeah. They'd send me a song, and I was like, let me try and sing on this. And I did. And I just Caribbean music, reggae music, dancehall. I never really sung to any of that. It was just me in the studio jamming, and it's just a really fun, cute song. But it's definitely one of those things where I watch it back now and I'm like, oh my God.
I think anyone who's creative can relate, Lisa. Yeah. I'm sure.
So, but that was a good little stepping stone.
It's still online?
Yeah.
Still on
it's
YouTube?
Still online. But unfortunately, that was the demise of my group. because that was just a really hard segue. Because it was like trying to come out of the group, trying to, you know, get the rights to, you know, it was only my voice on the track.
Yeah.
But like, do we put Say Banyana on iTunes? Do we put my...
Oh,
this
really?
is quite controversial in our circles, our little dancer circles, because there were a lot of rumors flying around.
Really?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And there was some misinformation.
Sure.
But basically, yeah, like, you know, when you know this, when you upload a song, you have an aggregator and you have to put the artist's name.
Yeah.
And the artist's name was Lisa Viola, because that's who was singing on the track. And I was totally happy to have Say Banyana. Like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I didn't own the rights to the name Say Banyana. We technically didn't have it copyrighted or anything. And you have to do that, as you know, for branding. And so we'd already had some members leave the group. So to be able to use the name, we had to go back to those members and say, hey, like, can we trademark the name?
That's right, check in, yeah.
But they were like, well, it's our name too. And I was like, well, yeah, it is, but you left the group. And then it was like, well, okay, well, we can't use the name Say Banyana on iTunes. And
really?
It was petty, yeah. It was petty. So, and I was like, okay, well, it's just going to have to be Lisa Viola. And then it just turned into this massive argument. And then it was over before it started, which is such a shame, because the idea was kind of like African Pussycat Dolls.
Yes.
Which I think is, from a marketing perspective, fucking hectic.
Indeed.
I would have sold so many
yeah.
more singles if we
Sure.
just had kept going.
Yeah.
So
Strength
it was
in numbers.
just strength in numbers, and it was not
Yeah.
done before. Like, there's 101 like fucking black girls like me,
Yeah.
but as far as an African all-girl singing, dancing
That's right.
group, like,
With
we
all
would
the
kill
looks
it.
and
We
quite polished and talented.
choreographed,
Yeah,
and hardworking.
What a shame, right? Sometimes that little bit of short-sightedness can ruin, you know, things with incredible potential.
But no hate, because at the end of the day, like, you got to do what's right for you, and they knew. And big ups. I'm always really proud of anyone that is, especially when it's a tough decision to make. I'm always really proud of anyone that stands up and goes, "This isn't for me."
Sure.
I'm happy with that, but just don't like fucking shit on other people's parade in the midst of that. You have to kind of just let things evolve. So, but that propelled me into like being a soloist and not doing the dance crew. But everyone knew me as a dancer, so you know, I mean, you used to book me back in the days.
Yes,
if I showed up without dancers, like, you'd be like, "This isn't Lisa." Like, it's part of my brand.
Yeah, but I actually remember also booking you as a dancer when we did a couple of gigs at Marquee long time ago.
Oh, did I do that?
Yes, you did.
See, look, I always showed you love.
Yeah,
I
man.
would always do anything for you.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I got in hot pants for you that gig.
Yes, you did. There's video footage of it.
And I don't do that for anyone, Rafa.
Oh, thank you very much, Lisa. Obrigado. Obrigado, beleza
É nada.
do Angola e Portugal.
É nada.
No,
Especially not these days. Hey, Paulie.
Well, actually, you might say that, but 2 minutes on your Instagram, and I'm sure we'll come across a nice set of hot pants.
Yeah, but I can. That's different.
Okay, cool.
I can,
explain.
Well, it's different because I can actually.
One is in front
I know
of
what you're
tens of
saying,
thousands
though.
of people. The other one's in front of 400.
Yeah, no, it's different because it's like on
You
my
can
time.
control
It's
it.
I can control it. There isn't anyone out there trying to touch me.
You're very
If anyone's
funny, Lisa Viola.
if anyone's ever done podium, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Look, I must admit that rarely do you get like any sort of high percentage of good quality photos even from people performing live. It's, you know, you take 150 and 2 or 3 might be good. I know that from over the years, you know, we shoot the podium girls. We shoot singers, everybody, right? And then you're going through and you go, no. You know, because obviously when you're performing, you're not posing.
Yeah.
Even though I think a lot of podium dancers do a lot of posing as well.
Well, let them get their money.
But that's not the case with you. I can definitely attest to that. So you've put out a few singles.
Yeah.
How many?
I can't remember now, but I did a whole EP.
Let's try and remember.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh,
When was the first
no
one?
one cares. My first one was
okay, I'm asking,
2012. Oh, bless. Thank you. Look, that was
welcome.
a serious look in your eye.
Yeah,
there.
come on, man.
Sorry. Okay.
We can Google all this shit, by the way. Don't
can.
make us go there, man. Because
Exactly.
Paulie, once he gets going, he's very easy to stop.
Yeah. So a few singles.
Paulie. Yeah, we'll put him on.
But while we're here, let me just say thank you, because you've supported me on a lot of levels. Like my
Really?
second single, you
Yes.
actually hooked up the location.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
So that was Stop Me Cry.
Trademark.
No, it was Nick's place in Bondi over the water.
Oh, man.
Remember that?
You're
that
going
was you.
way back.
That was you. That was my
Wow.
second single, Stop Me Cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were that guy I could call and be like, Raf, I need this.
Do you know anyone with a penthouse and Bondi? I was like, yep. Yeah, that was a big place, right?
That was a gorgeous place.
Shout out to Mocky, man. That was Mocky's place too. And you know, Mocky lives here at La Finca.
You're kidding?
Yeah, man. He's my brother.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. We lived in Coogee together for 5 years.
Yeah.
Great times on the water. And now we've moved to Jurul to begin this crazy.
So he's here at the house.
Yeah.
Nick.
No. Mocky used to live with Nick.
Oh, okay.
You probably met Nick because Mocky wasn't there because Mocky's never there. He's always floating around somewhere.
So I have met him before.
Yes, you have.
That's it. Okay.
But not the fella you met
today.
Just before.
Now.
That's someone else.
Okay.
We're a big family.
Yeah, it's a big family.
Yes.
Okay.
I always got a lot of people around me.
Yeah.
I like it like that.
That's good.
But no, the thank you is a two-way street because you've always supported me as well, and we've done pretty cool things together.
Yeah.
And you never know, we might be able to do many more,
Yeah.
like this podcast, which I love getting people like you on, people, talented people, positive role models, people with passion because you're a very passionate woman. You back yourself, which is amazing, and you're very confident in when you speak. I must say that you've always been like that. Yeah,
Thanks.
you cut through.
Thank you.
Boom, and. Around this time when you're putting out clips and whatever, I'm going to go out and say that, was that roughly around the time where you were working in Red Room for Corinne?
No, I stopped working.
Just after?
I stopped working at Red Room, and that was a call I wanted to make.
Sure.
And I spoke to Corinne about it because Corinne's one of my dearest friends. Like, she's actually my sister.
Yeah,
like, hands
she's
down.
many people's sister, I think.
We've been through so much. So I stopped working at Red Room because I just thought, again, part of my marketing, my branding, I was like,
fair enough.
I'm trying to market myself as this like big time artist, and you have to kind of fake it till you make it in the beginning because you want people to feel. And then I was seeing everyone I knew every Saturday night at the door at Red Room.
Yeah.
It kind of took away some of the shine.
Yeah.
So
actually, now that you say that,
it was before that.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, we're talking like looking back from an outsider point of view, around that same time where you kind of took off as a singer.
Yeah.
But I'm going to confess something.
Yes.
Can I confess, Paulie?
Yes.
Do you know what this confession is?
No, how's he going to know?
He looks like he knows it. He's
I have
excited.
No idea,
no, he's excited because I've never said this, I think.
Okay.
We don't have many women on the show. You're the second one. So I had done 7 years jail, and I got out in 2010.
What? 7 years jail?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Wow. Stop the press.
Fuck off, Paulie. Anyway, so I've come out and it was great times. Sort of rediscovered lots of things, nightlife, clubs, parties, and shows, and all these things that were going on at the time, like a young bull, And I went to see Corinne at a Red Room a few times, and I walk in, and one of the girls that was almost always there was you behind a door. Boom, hello. Every week or almost every week, because I was actually hosting OMG at Hunter Bar.
That's right. I used to walk down the road.
Exactly.
I remember.
So I used to go to Hunter, check the mic, say hello to everybody, have a couple drinks with the boys, and then wait a couple hours because you don't need an MC when the club's empty. Go down and see you guys. Walking in, say hello to Lisa, cool. And then one day, I think, because I used to get there really early. And one day there wasn't that many people around. I think Coco was busy because she used to greet me with a barrage of coffee patrons and wet pussies. And
sounds exactly like my best friend Chris.
Man, I used to stumble down the road back to Hunter 9:30 at night, and I was already fucked.
To go work.
Yeah.
Well, hectic.
Anyway, so on this one night in particular, there was like a lounge room kind of area on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went back there, and there was all these comfortable lounges and sofas and shit. And I said, oh, this is pretty cool. I never even noticed this. I grabbed a drink, and I went there to chill. And I look up, and where you guys work, there's a big glass wall.
Where is this going?
Did anyone?
Wow.
Did anyone ever tell you about? You guys wore short miniskirts, and there was a big glass wall.
Yeah.
And from years, there was a big glass wall.
Oh, for years, that's where everyone would sit.
Well, it's a comfortable lounge area. So anyway, and there's another thing you might not know is that do you remember you used to work behind quite a tall table?
So we'd sit on the stools.
Well, you sit on the stool, but every time someone came in that you wanted to like kiss.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Raf, you only tell us now.
Well, actually, in my defense, it was too good to snitch on.
Wow. All these years.
No. But
so that's why you were always there.
No. It was my love for the culture.
I just remember you being so sweet and thinking how sweet you were.
Well, you can thank my mum.
And they
for
were
that.
like, everyone was like, oh, yeah, I will thank your mum for that.
Yes.
I met your mum once and I could tell why you are
Yeah,
so sweet.
of course, man.
But I remember you coming in and being so sweet, and I remember someone saying, "Oh, he just got out of jail," and I was like, "Really? Him? He's such a sweetheart. Like, what could he possibly have done?"
I've actually had that a few times. People are like, shut up. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. If you don't believe me, I don't give a shit. But I'm telling you.
But you actually had a crush on one of the girls, so you would come with flowers and chocolates.
That was a part of it, yes. And that's probably why you thought I was cute and nice, when really I wasn't.
No, really.
No, but look, I will say this: the skirts.
Whoa.
Just giving Paulie some chain.
Who was the flowers for in the chocolates?
My
We
ex-girlfriend,
don't
Tiara.
need to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, straight up. Yes.
What's taboo about
Good.
something
Well,
like
let's
that?
just say she was probably the hottest frisk girl, so everyone was in love with Tiara.
Because you guys were the frisk ladies.
We were the frisk ladies.
That's
yeah.
right, and there was even like you had your own social media almost.
Well,
like it was his own. It was his own thing. Yeah,
Corinne
yeah.
was the master of branding.
Yeah,
so she
yeah,
really just
yeah.
knew, and I learned so much more from her when I got
Sure.
to Sydney too.
Yeah.
Because I watched how she worked with her business, and again, I just wanted to implement everything I was
Yeah.
learning into everything I was doing.
Yeah.
And if I didn't know all of that stuff, I would never ever have made it as an independent artist. I just wouldn't have.
And the cool thing about Coco, obviously, she comes from a background in performing because she was a singer herself.
Amazing singer to this day.
Yes. So that's my story with Gorko, and hopefully I'll get her on the show one day. I've really been thinking about it from the beginning. It would be cool to get her on. I remember I met her a few times pre going away. But one time in particular, I remember she was backing singer for Camille, Empress Camille, my Jamaican friend. Shout out to Empress in Jamaica. And Coco was one of her backup singers.
Wow.
And we were in Fox Studios. Well, back then it was called Fox Studios.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Still is. Is it still?
No, it's called Moore Park Entertainment Quarter. It's probably changed names again, actually.
No,
but
because when I do my gigs and stuff, I go to Fox Studios.
yeah, but I think Fox Studios might be like a tiny little thing
Right,
now
yeah, it's the
inside.
actual-
Before it used the whole thing
whole
used to be
thing.
Fox Studios.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
that's
yeah,
right. But anyway, shout out to Coco again.
Yeah.
That's probably her third shout out. She
Yeah,
deserves it.
Yeah. She's
so
blue.
yeah, so the Frisk ladies, me perving on you girls, and all I wanted to say is
You're sorry for being
no, fuck
just
no.
So-
What do you mean I did nothing wrong. Man, I was a patron.
Fuck no, he says.
What am I going to be sorry for?
Wow,
Man,
Raf.
it's the most
Wow, Raf.
natural thing that a man
Really?
could do is, look at a
just-
beautiful woman, or
But
women
but
in
it
this
was
case.
just, yeah, but it's okay if it's like, just, but the fact that you guys would come every week and sit there.
Yeah.
That's a little pervy, no?
In my defense, and I think this is what I was trying to end with, trying to get out of it real quickly. In my defense, I think I only actually did it once or twice. It was towards the end when I actually realized, oh man,
Right.
I missed out all this
But
time.
how many people did you tell?
No one.
Okay, good.
No, I'm good like that.
See, I trust
But
that.
no one. I think one time there might have been someone with me, but most of the time I was actually there alone because it was so early. I used to just check in and
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Man, Corinne made me take my underpants off one time. I remember.
No panties?
Yeah,
She
no
loved
panties
no
thing.
panties.
Me
She
and
did it
C
once a
Major.
year.
Yeah, shout out to C Major.
Yeah,
She's a woman that kind of makes you do things that you normally wouldn't.
Wouldn't think that
Yeah,
you do.
yeah. She can channel
Everyone.
them little devil forces.
She
I think.
totally
and
can.
Yeah. She's good. She's good
Yeah.
like that. Reminds me of another friend of mine called Richie Pereira.
I remember Richie.
He's my neighbor.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he's my neighbor here in Dural.
Yeah.
I checked in on Facebook and he gives me a call. He goes, "Bro, are you in Dural?" I said, "Yeah, man." "Where?" And he's on Google. I can tell he's on Google Maps. Tell me where. I'm like, "Here's my address." He goes, "Ah, I'm 150 meters away from you, man. Straight line." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here." Yeah.
Wow.
He's got another big acreage
Yeah.
thing close
crazy.
by. Yeah. Anyway, shout out to Richie. Trying to
Shout
get
out
him on the
Richie.
show too.
Mm-hmm.
So now
First
we.
ladies.
Yeah, Frisk ladies. Shout out to all the
ladies.
Frisk ladies.
Yeah,
that was
shout
his
out.
own thing.
Yeah.
But now, what I wanted to say, so then you put the club thing behind you. You were in the clubs for a few years.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, maybe 2.
Okay, couple
2
of years.
Yeah.
But
doing
then you were
door.
still involved with some of the behind the scenes stuff with Coco, right? With,
Yeah.
your
So I
Frisk
worked for
management.
Frisk Management.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the
So I was
office.
working in the office first.
Yeah.
And then I think it was just one night where they didn't have a girl. And I was like, oh, I'll go.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it
started
in the
like
office.
that, and then I was just there
Okay,
every
cool.
weekend because I was having a nice time, and
Yeah,
you know, because I mean, I don't know, I think I was a bit of a snob back then because you know I was a Perth girl. I was like, I don't do the door because you know I grew up in nightclubs and I was the girl on
Sure,
stage, so
yeah.
I didn't want to do the door, but I had to humble
Yeah.
myself a little bit because I needed the money.
It's a pretty cool gig, man.
And honestly, I met
in a
so
place
many.
like
I
that
met
too.
so many people.
Yeah, in a place like
it's
that.
the networking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was great.
Yeah,
It was really good.
there was always a cool vibe there, and
Yeah.
I think it was nice that having that old school element. So you had like a few generations. You get me?
Yeah.
So you'd see
Yeah.
a lot of people that you
Wasn't
hadn't
too-
seen in a while. Plus,
It felt like family.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it still does. I think we're
Yeah.
part of that, you know. Everyone's part of it. Even Richie, like, that's how we all know each other.
And that's again credit to Corinne, right? 'Cause she was like, you know, she
Yeah.
still is like the big mama, you know,
She
to,
really is,
to
yeah.
everyone. Not so
Yeah.
big,
Yeah.
not so big mama.
That's a big mama.
Yeah, but big in presence.
Got a
and,
big
yeah,
butt.
in spirit.
Yeah.
She does.
Big butt mama.
Big butt mama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a compliment. Big butt
Yeah.
mama. Big butt mama, Corinne.
It's a BBM. Sounds
You worked that out too
naughty.
quickly for my liking, Lisa. Suspicious. No.
I told you I'm good with acronyms.
True. Say banana. Listen, so no more door bitching.
Normal door bitching. But I
What-
was never a bitch. Was I ever a bitch? No.
Door bitch is the common term.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But did you ever encounter me being a bitch?
No.
Okay, good.
No. And even if you were,
Just
I
on
would have.
record.
Rafa, what you saying about a dogger? If they're not a bitch, they're not. doing
No.
the job.
All I was going to say on that is the door bitch thing. Over the years, a few people have come up to me and said, "Oh man, fuck, you know, your dog girl fucking charged me fucking $25, man, fucking hell, rah," and then they walk away, and I just go, "Well done, girl.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a job, man." Like,
Exactly.
imagine if
And
anyone
if they know
that
you,
rocked
then
up.
they should be okay to pay $25.
I know
to
that.
get
Look,
in,
my
like-
crew knows who my family is and
Yeah.
who is who, right? But
Yeah.
generally speaking, your staff's got to do their job. And imagine if anyone that walked up and said, "Yeah,
Yeah.
how you doing? Whatever," and like, nah,
Yeah.
business is business, not
right.
running a charity. But
And that's what Corinne had an issue with me at first because I was so new.
You're a Nazi.
And well, not a Nazi. I just didn't know who the famous people were. Because, for example, like rugby is really big here.
yeah,
But in Perth, it's not. So
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
any of the rugby stars. So they'd
Fair
come
enough.
in
Yeah.
and they'd, you know, and they were fine because they have money. So they don't mind
Sure.
paying. But
Yeah.
Corinne would be like, I can't believe you charged this person. I'm like, well, just give me their money. Like, I don't fucking know who they were.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you couldn't tell they were
Yeah.
like famous. They had 2 girls on them and like they had, you know, an entourage.
Yeah,
I
but
was
still,
like,
how do you know?
They came in,
Yeah.
they gave me money.
Yeah.
I took their money. Like,
yeah, man, those were really
So-
good days, man. That place used to fucking rock.
yeah, we
Yeah.
always had like all the big stars. Like,
Yeah.
everyone went
Yeah,
through
yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Everyone
good
that was
times.
in the R&B or hip hop scene.
Indeed,
Came
yeah,
through
yeah.
that
It was there for a
place.
long time, right?
It's 12 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, and the
okay.
brand is still alive. They just do pockets, like they do
Yeah.
pop-up events.
Yeah. Not for a little while now, I'm sure, because
Yeah.
of bloody COVID. Yeah, that's right. But
Did you sterilize these?
yeah, Paulie sterilized them with the holy water
Good.
before the.
Good.
No, we're in a COVID-friendly environment, Lisa. Let's just say
Good.
that.
Yeah.
Because we drink vegetable juice.
And your water is actually blessed as well.
Thank
Like
you.
this,
Yes,
I
it's
feel so
gone through the
blessed.
distiller and
Distilled,
Very
remineralized, and re-energized.
Love it.
3-step process.
Love it.
Yeah, that's how we do
Yeah,
things
you're all
here at
about-
La
you're all
Finca.
about-
and tea and tea.
All about that
Even
life.
the ice cubes are blessed.
Really?
Your beautiful iced tea they had today, courtesy of the brother Paulie.
Thank
Not
you.
bad.
Yeah,
More to
really
come,
nice.
hopefully. This
Yeah.
summer we're going to start playing around with flavors.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of playing around with flavors,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a segue, then you begin obviously this run, all these singles in an EP.
Yeah. I did an EP.
Sure. And all these different flavors, right? Because you were
Yes.
crossing over from like R&B to
Yeah.
more dancehall-y
I
type
wouldn't say
stuff.
I ever did R&B.
Sure.
I think I'm actually a pop writer.
Okay.
Very much a pop writer.
Sure.
And then I just have a love for Afrobeat
Of course.
music.
Sure.
Afro beats, I should
Yeah.
say, you know, and then the dancehall flavor, because that's just
Yeah.
what I move well to.
Sure.
So that just felt natural for me, but the writing on top of it was very pop and very commercial.
Mm. Yep.
So I was kind of creating, I had my own little thing,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah.
But it was definitely in that lane
Yeah,
Right.
when I say R&B, I mean from a much broader sort of
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
'cause
mean, I
I'm
know
black?
probably. No. I mean, when a Latino speaks to an African woman and you're talking about R&B, motherfucker, it's R&B. It's like probably more soulful or whatever, you know. But when
Well,
you,
thank you. I'll take it.
Yeah, no. Hey, the music's banging.
Like,
the music's banging.
yeah.
No doubt about it. Do you miss me?
Yeah.
See?
That's such a beautiful. You remembered it.
Of course, man. It's a banger.
Good work. Thank you.
Yeah, man. And really nice videos too.
Yeah, I've been lucky with my visuals.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you've been doing lots of visuals ever since, because even
Yeah.
your Instagram's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I take all of that myself now. Like,
Yeah,
I'm getting
course.
quite savvy with my iPhone, and I think 'cause the phones are just so amazing now, and I've worked out lighting and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Content.
Yeah.
I really enjoy content creating and like editing videos and you know infusing like the dance and the movement. I don't do as much dance stuff, but I do a few challenges here and there.
Yeah, but I saw one recently where you're having fun with sunglasses.
Yeah.
So that's cool concept.
So it's so cool now because I literally, and that's why I was saying like a lot of artists get like a bit, their nose in a joint when they're like, oh, I'm not an influencer, and they're really scared to do that stuff. But I love the fact that brands will call me and be like, hey, like we saw some of your stuff, we think it's great, do you want to just come by the store, take some product,
Nothing wrong with that,
and just create some fun content for us. And I'm just like, yeah, absolutely. And that's part of the networking process, because you don't know who you're going to meet or who the store manager is going to know, and it always ends up being this really cool collaboration.
If in some way you were compromising, your art or your singing or your persona or profile by doing it, but I think it's quite the opposite. I think it's it's
I
complementary.
try and make it, And if someone said to me the other day, because I just shot something for Love Honey, which is like a sex toy and lingerie website, which I love. Like, they're really cool people, and they're just really, I think, on trend, and they just do it in a really savvy, cute way without it being like phallic. So I shot a video for them, and then I synced it with this like Afrobeat song, and I had a friend of mine look at the video before I posted it. She was like, oh, it's good, but don't you think you should use some like music that everyone knows, like something that's more? And I was like, you know what, that's what I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to compromise that I'm the girl that is flying the flag for Afrobeats and dancehall.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a huge market for it.
Yeah,
people, and unless we do it, like the big companies aren't doing it, so we need to do it. And I'm not going to stop. And it's not going to change how good the content is. It's just not going to be maybe as commercial, or if you have like a Rihanna song playing or a Beyonce song playing, of course it's going to be cool. But no, like that's what my brand's about. My brand's about like spreading the love on this genre of music.
Yeah, I think you should be doing a lot more stuff on camera. I'm just going to put that out there.
Thank you.
Yes,
I've got an agent now. The last 2 years I've been acting.
And what does that mean?
That means I go to like 101 auditions and get booked for like one. That's what that actually means.
Thank you, agent.
That's what that actually means. I had no idea that acting was just
right.
audition
you think
call
you just
after
like
audition
4
call.
people show up and you get 1 out of 5.
Yo, right. And I'd be looking at the brief, and I'm looking at like, how much you're going to get paid. I'm like, yes, I'm in.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what?
Yeah.
I literally went to like 100 auditions in like 6 months, which is great. And my agent kept saying, that's so good that you're in the room, and they keep asking to see you again.
Yeah.
And I only booked like one TV thing, but it was like a speaking role, and my agent was really happy about it. I was like, okay, so I'm just going to keep doing that.
I think you should.
Thanks.
And I think anything sort of podcasting or anything like that would be equally suited. I could see you. I could see you doing the news if you wanted to. I could see you doing. Let me continue. You could be the weather chick.
The weather girl.
Yeah, you can be the weather chick.
In there.
You can present some documentaries. I mean, yeah, really. But you've got very good diction.
Thank you.
Almost UK like.
I did. Is it Ella Couche? Is that how you say it? See, I don't even see. It's not that great. I did lessons because one of the gigs that I had growing up was there was this is so embarrassing. There was a stage show for children called the Lisa and Afro Show, and it was this big cat, Afro the cat, and I was the compere. So I'd be like, "Hi kids, how are you today?" So it was big that my diction was really important because I was talking to children, and it was all singing, dancing, and we did hundreds of those stage shows around Perth.
Yeah, that sounds like almost like a theme park type job, right? Where you're like...
I've been making money since I was like 14. I was like, I'll do it.
So you think that you think it's got to do a lot to do with that, with your upbringing, kind of getting polished in?
I think so, yeah. Okay, because awesome. It was always about, and the people that I was around at the time were really big on speaking properly and etiquette and things like that, because they were very... Western people,
not like the rest of us.
I was gonna say white, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. So I was always the black girl in amongst all the the very polished white people, and not that my family's not polished. Because if you ever meet my mum, I don't know if you have.
No.
But she's like a little old white lady, but she's actually black. It's so funny, and I don't know how else to put it other than that. She's very she's very posh.
Really?
Yeah, for an African woman, she's very posh. Like twerking is out of the question.
How dare you?
How dare you? Yeah, she's very posh. And I'm like,
sure she doesn't agree with some of the. I mean, not that
she doesn't agree with anything I do. My entire life.
Nothing of what you do I would call risque. Even anything.
Really? But you're Latin.
No. Let me finish. Even the stuff that you do, which is, let's say, showing a bit more skin than other things, comes off classy and fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, which I think is not only a testament to your level of talent and your profession, but also it's awesome because I think as a brand you can relate to so many more people and generations, because obviously if you kind of do stuff that's too much this or too much that, you sort of narrow it down more and more. But there's one cool thing about narrowing, I guess, the demographic is this Afrobeats world that you're moving in, because even though it is massive, obviously down here in Australia, it might not be so, let's say, commercial or whatever, or even around the world, there's all these different currents and stuff. But when you're swimming in this one current, you do get a lot of traction. And that's why your Instagram's very popular and your songs are very popular and the videos on YouTube and all the choreographies and that, which is a testament again, because you kind of carved your own path, which is awesome to see. Yeah.
And that's hard to do because you're constantly fighting, oh, should I just do what everyone else is doing? Or like, because there's a lot of people looking at what you're doing going, what is it? We don't get it. Or it's literally my life story. It's actually how you do anything is how you do everything, right? I always say that. But my life story is I'm not quite black enough, but I'm not quite white enough. Like if I'm in white circles, I'm the black girl. If I'm in black circles, I'm the white girl. And you see that even in my art. It's like, well, where does she fit? Like, who is she? Like, what is this?
Yeah, but I think that makes you more rounded, Lisa.
I think so. Well, I try to hold on to that, Raf.
There's nothing wrong with that, because I can relate. Even though I'm white Latin American, I can go more Aussie, more whatever, and go quiet Latino at the same time. So you get these two sort of points of view on everything: world, music, people, cultures, foods, everything. But even within the say the Latin side, obviously you can go more white, more sort of established, polished, whatever, and I can also go more hip hop, candombe, street. So, and I think that gives you really good perspectives on humanity and everything. And
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously racism exists everywhere, and it's one of those hashtags nowadays that gets a lot of attention. But I would imagine that you can come to it from different angles yourself, right?
Because and I try to. I try to too. And I do move in different circles and, have always just appreciated it for what it is. Like I can be with my African people and just be like, cool, unpolished, whatever. But there's just something so raw and beautiful and real about it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then you could be in another circle and it's like, more Western, and it's like, okay, this is cool, but there's something that's displaced about it, and everyone seems a little bit more disconnected. But then they'll be looking at them and it's like I can see both sides very clearly, and that's literally who I am.
But I think you being comfortable in all those kind of places and all those kind of scenes is really awesome for you as a performer and as an identity, because again, I look at your profile from sound to visuals and performing, and of course, I mean, on the dance side, it's very African, let's say. Musically, it's a mixture of all those things, and then your profile as an influencer / content creator is very diverse. As far as it'll be very hard to pigeonhole you down as this or that. Obviously, your look is African, mixed. But as far as everything else that you do, it's quite, broad as far as the look and the feel. It's very commercial. It's very friendly. It's warm, and a touch of classy and sexy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's a hard balance to have, because also as you get older, you become a little bit more, I guess, free. Sure. You know what I mean? You don't care so much about what people think.
Sure.
So, like I said, I've been
Can get
working.
you in trouble.
It can get you in trouble because you're just like, like I did the WAP challenge.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I didn't care. I was like, Wet Ass Pussy.
Very
I was like,
controversial song, yeah.
And I thought that it would be, because then you go to certain circles.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Who knows what they're saying behind my back? But to my face, they were all celebrating it and they were playing the song. And it was so sometimes you just have to be yourself. I think being, unapologetic helps other people be unapologetic. Yeah. And if Cardi B's taught us anything, it's that.
Oof.
Right?
She
just doesn't care.
I laugh so much listening to her speak that New York Dominican accent thing.
But she puts it on too,
of
right?
course she does, man. It's like,
entertainment.
What the hell? Oh, man.
But I love her. And as an artist, I respect her so much because she's taught me that.
Good.
If you can give some sort of positivity to anyone, that's your job done, right?
I'm the least probably judgmental person you'll meet, and also I think having done as much as I have in my journey so far kind of allows you to understand and to be cool with that's this stage, that stage, whatever, I've done things that I'm not too proud of, and I wouldn't do them today, but I've done them. So when I see other people doing things that maybe I think, oh man, these guys are trying to be gangster, or these hoes doing this or whatever, I think, it's just all different shades of humanity, And
I'm more at that place the older I get.
Indeed.
And it's hard, like I said, it's hard because, I'm trying to create content and do things and market myself and brand myself, position myself in a way where, I do have my own like boundaries and morals, do you know what I mean? But everyone has their own version of that. And I'm just trying to have a space on my social media where it's, you can see, you have to just be able to see the duality in it all.
Indeed. So duality, duality is a very important word.
If I'm in my living room, like fucking twerking in the floor in my little booty shorts, but at the same time, the next week I might be fundraising for something that's really important.
True.
And talking on subjects and matters
Very
that are
good
really
point.
important in society right now.
Yeah.
And still, I just don't want to be boxed as, that's all she does.
Yeah.
Because I think every female has those layers, and it depends
very much so
what you want to play to. But I'm not there just about trying to get attention and trying to get likes and numbers. Like, I actually want to create a place where there's some depth to it too, because I feel that's who I am as a person, so
I believe that, and that definitely comes through, and that's what I've been alluding to these past few minutes, which is all very awesome, Lisa.
Well, thank you
for being here, Lisa Viola. One question, racism, right? I'm not the world's biggest violinist, as far as there's a big emphasis and focus nowadays on kind of like victimization of everything. I am very much aware of the atrocities, in human history, as far back as we can all remember, and I'm very much in tune with the need to, rewrite history and acknowledge certain things and make sure they never happen again. However, I'm not sort of part of this kind of hashtag cancel culture, sort of hysterical thing that's going on, which is, I believe, pushed from above for their own reasons. What's it been like for you? Maybe not so much 2020, because that's a whole another thing, as I was saying, but, obviously you've lived it as far as being a woman of color in a country that's a mix of colors, and predominantly white and white European. What was your experiences like maybe growing up, or is there any kind of standout things that you would like to share with us about that journey?
I'd love to say that I wouldn't love to say it, but, I just don't have any story that's like, oh my God, I don't have the violin story.
Great. And I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you should have anything.
No.
We're just
but
curious.
I do, obviously have encountered it, but I've encountered it, like I've seen it from both sides. So I'm kind of like, okay, and I feel like we all do it, and we don't even mean to sometimes.
Indeed.
Whether it's racism or sexism or there's just so much that happens every day, and I think there just needs to be some understanding and people stopping and just listening to each other.
Sure.
That's how I feel about 2020, and 2020 has really just brought everything to the surface.
Sure.
And everyone, for such a long time, I remember at the beginning of the year just feeling really conflicted because I did have a lot to say, but I felt like the people that I'm saying this to already know. Like, where are the people that don't want to listen?
Yeah.
You know, and how do we get them to listen?
Yeah.
And what's going on with them, and what do they need to be listened to? You know what I mean? Like, so that maybe they need to be heard out as well. So it's just, that's how I felt about 2020. But my whole life in general, if we go straight to racism, I had a black mother and a white father.
Sure.
My real father had stayed in Angola, so he didn't come to Australia. But my mum had remarried, and my stepfather's Swiss. So I just remember having like that. Yeah, I just remember it was just white and black. Like, my stepfather has blue eyes, and white skin is whiter than you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
my mother is black, like black, like
Sure.
no other black, you know? So I just remember being at school when I was maybe 6. It was like year 2. Yeah, and this girl I'd gone to the bathroom, and I was washing my hands, and she come out, and she was like looking at me. And she said something, I can't remember what she said, and I was just kind of like, and then I walked out, and then she stuck her head out of the bathroom, and she started calling me Blackie, and she was like, Blackie!
Wow.
And that was my first experience with racism, and I had no idea what she was on about.
Sure.
I just remember it felt wrong. I remember it felt bad.
Yeah.
I had no idea, and then I remember going home that night and crying, and I'm like, this girl's making fun of me. Why was she calling me Blackie? Like, what even is that?
Yeah.
You know, and then Mum was like, well, I'm black, and your dad's white. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, when you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
You get taught that.
Yeah.
And I see it in
that
people's children even that now. Like, you can tell the parents that have had the conversation with the kid and parents that haven't. I had one little girl when I was, I think, 15, and I was assisting teaching, and she was sitting on my lap. It was like a little baby's class.
Yeah.
And she was maybe like 2 or 3, and she like licked me. No word of a lie. She licked me. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? And she goes, my mummy said you're chocolate.
Oh.
Swear to God.
Well,
right?
chocolate is nicer than black.
Right, but she's obviously gone home and gone, oh, my teacher, Lisa, like, she looks different. And her mum's just gone, oh, well, she's just got a nice chocolate colour. Like, it's how you approach your kids about it and what they see and what they hear.
Course.
So as a child, I didn't know the difference. I just thought we were all people. And I would literally remember looking up and being like, oh my God, you're black. Oh my God, you're white. And then it was just this thing that was happening in life where it was just, you'd hear my mum say things about white women, and then you'd hear my stepdad say things about black guys. Yeah. And I'd hear my mum say things about black guys. You know, like, it was just this whole thing of like, oh, there's a real difference here. And there was real stereotypes that I was trying to understand what was going on. And then it wasn't really until, and being a black woman of colour, and my brother likes to remind me about this all the time. He's like, it's a very different experience for me compared to what he had to deal with. Because he's like, you walk into a room and, okay, you're a woman of colour, but you're not threatening.
That's right.
And men
you're
find you attractive.
That's right.
So they're like, oh, you're exotic. So there's a different way that they're going to treat you and deal with you. And he's like, I walk into a room and he's got dreads, he's got tats.
That's right.
And I'm automatically, everyone's just off guard and people are scared, or people like take their kids or, you know, like push them away, or he's like, it's a different experience.
Very interesting dynamic, that one.
Yeah.
And
So
probably one that I haven't sort of discussed. I mean, I totally get what you're saying, but I haven't really sort of heard it from someone put in those terms.
Yeah.
And it definitely makes sense.
And just hearing things that people would say, like I said, I would be in different groups. So I would be with my white friends.
You get it from both sides.
Yeah, and hear what they may say about Aboriginal people.
Yeah.
And at one point, I'm going to put my hand up. At one point, I was just a sheep. I was just doing and saying what they were saying. And I was just like, oh my God, you know, forgetting, I'm the woman of colour in this room. I should be saying something. But when you're 15, 16, you don't know.
Well, especially coming up in an area that's predominantly white, so you don't have that kind of black identity, right?
No. So it wasn't until I moved to Sydney that I was really able to, I guess, be around
feel
other
the
people.
Power.
Yeah, it wasn't even feel the power. It was just be around people, and it was so evident here. When you get to Sydney, everyone's very. There's a level of, oh, where are you from?
Yeah.
What area are you from?
Yeah.
There's a real thing with that.
True.
And people straight away. I remember feeling really off put because people would always ask me, like, where were you born, or what's your nationality?
Yeah.
People would never ask me that in
Sydney.
People would never ask me that.
Yeah,
but I'm sure they were thinking it. And I'm sure they were wondering.
Much more so if if your skin's brown or you're Asiatic, or I'm sure.
An accent.
Indeed. But it's a very common thing in Sydney. Where you from? What nationality? What's your background?
That didn't happen to me growing up in Perth at all.
Oh, okay.
I very rarely remember anyone asking. It was kind of like maybe I just didn't think it. I was just like, oh.
I'll tell you one thing where I kind of part with the kind of racism story as currently being told anyway. You know, they're trying to tell us kind of like, you know, we're all the same, we're all humanity, which we are, and it's all love. But I actually believe that we're all different, and I like it that way.
It's about celebrating the differences.
Most definitely. And this word tolerance gets thrown around a lot, and I kind of understand the intention behind it, but it's not a very good word. Tolerant is almost like, I tolerate you. I don't find it to be probably the most positive word that we could use. You know, I think more like, as you said, celebrate or embrace, or, you know, because ultimately those differences is what makes society more colorful and...
But that's the problem
awesome,
we've been
really.
having, and I do see it as a problem because, okay, so when there's racism, like in your face racism, and then there's just this blatant undercurrent that runs through life. Like all my dolls were white. What does that do to me as a child of color with an afro? I'm just like, what the fuck? So there's this undercurrent of making us feel like we're inferior. Like I remember being like, you just don't see black people on TV. You just don't see, and this is Australia. I'm sure in the States it's different, and of course Africa and other places. But in Australia, it just wasn't, you know. And I remember always feeling a type of way about my body. I remember the first time I watched Beyonce do Single Ladies on the TV, and I was like in my 20s, and I stopped dead in my living room, and I stopped there and just was like, because I'd never seen a fucking thick bitch in a leotard.
Wow.
And she was not even that thick.
No, she wasn't.
But what that does
enough.
for someone like me, growing up with white friends who were tall and skinny and didn't have butts or thighs, I was like...
Back in those days, it was all about small butts.
Right, and then all the men in the room
never in South
stopping every
America.
time the video plays, and all the men are like, damn, that girl's body. And I'm like, what, you mean that's hot?
I've been
rocking that body for the last 10 years, bitch.
That's right. That's advantage.
But it's that's whole...
advantage Latinas and African women ever since J-Lo, Beyonce, that kind of generation came in.
But it changed the narrative of like what's beautiful. And that's... I'm sorry, but that's like part of the problem.
Sure.
Because it's teaching the generations that we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not beautiful enough. And then you're not going to, you said to me, oh, you're very confident. You speak very well. Yeah. Right? There's a lot of black girls that couldn't sit here and be that confident. Why? Yeah. Because they've been told their whole life that they're ugly, or that their hair's not good enough, or that they're too fat, or that their lips are too big.
Thankfully, in 2020, it's better. Than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And every kind of 5-10 years, you just get worse and worse, right? The further back you go. At least nowadays with, you know, so much media and all these platforms and all, you can kind of still find your, you know, your kind of role models and your faces for all these different subcultures. Yeah. But we still got a long way to go.
And it's stereotypes in general. Like, we just need to break all the stereotypes. Yeah. You know, it's not that we're all the same. It's that we are all different. But you have to judge someone based on their character. Yeah. Not someone walks into a room and you're all of a sudden, if they've got tattoos, or on their CV it says they've been in jail, or if they're a woman. Yeah, a
lot of those stereotypes come from above. You know. Yeah, well, I definitely think that, you know, certain looks or currents or generations or movements are hijacked and they're commercialized. Yeah. And, you know, cynical people will tell you that there's a big agenda behind it. I believe that there is some of that, involved. But I also think that, you know, we have this kind of gene to almost like follow. So, you know, once something becomes real cool, everybody wants to be that. And then we have like, you know, the gangster thing, the West Coast thing, the stripper thing, you know, because there's all these young girlies that are kind of swayed by this whole, you know, it's cool. Little bit beyond booty shaking, let's say. Yeah. Sometimes it is a bit in your face.
Yeah, but if that's, I don't know, we just have to get to a place of acceptance. Maybe let's replace tolerance with acceptance.
Yep. Acceptance, yeah. I come from a booty shaking culture. It's all good. You know that. But I mean, I'm thinking more of the, like, there was a big furor recently about this Netflix series. There's real
with the girls?
really young girls. Like, that's probably a bridge too far for me.
Yeah, I get that. But growing up in that dance culture, like, we were always in little outfits. And, we weren't necessarily booty shaking. Yeah.
My understanding is this thing is quite...
I've seen bits of it. I haven't seen the whole thing.
Is it that bad?
Look,
bad enough.
It depends on how you look at it. Who's looking at it and how are you looking at it? I blame the person watching. It's like...
There's a bit of that always, yes.
Like, how are you looking at it? Like, a girl could walk in here in close to nothing and you could just be like, like... Like, are we just...
Yeah. I hear you on
But
that
then
one.
someone's gonna look at it and be like, oh, like
That's sexual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what's sexual? I had someone
the
like
intention.
jerking off behind me on a train once. I wasn't dressed sexually. He just viewed me in that way, and that was his agenda.
Problem, not yours. That's right. Yeah.
So if a little girl is booty shaking, like, because I'm sorry, part of our culture, like yours, like that's how we dance. The kids, whatever.
Yeah.
But the men are sitting around going, oh, look at her ass. Like, I want to. That's what's fucked up.
Look, some of them will do that. In any culture, there's always, people that are a bit sick that way. But it shouldn't stop, the rest of society, I guess, if they wanted to do it. So I think we're on the same kind of page on that one. Also, some people take offense to being called black, and I guess ultimately that's their call, because it's their own reality.
But you have to be able to communicate that and say, look, I don't like it when you do that without being...
Yeah, but the one thing, kind of touching on this intention thing that you were talking about, because if the person saying it, finds it offensive, or hearing it finds it offensive, I think that person's got the problem, because black is a color. Black is beautiful. Being called black, I mean, to me, it's amazing. Black woman, black man, great culture, great history, music, the first instrument, drums, and, all these kind of things come to my mind when I think of black, like music, soul, anyway.
But it's like the, he, her, they thing. It's like, I just think we just need to be accepting. Like, if someone says, if I was to say to you, hey, Raf, don't call me black, you're my friend. You're like, I'm not going to call you that.
In the story.
Done. That's all it needs to be. I think we don't need to, like...
No. But I guess, your three friends, okay, the blonde, the black one, and the fat one. Like...
Yeah.
Is that
I'm sure the fat one wouldn't like to be called the fat one.
Okay, the big one.
The big one. Or the curvy one. Or
yeah.
I don't know, like it's...
No, but I guess what I'm trying to say is who decides...
Who decides what's offensive?
Yeah, I don't think black is offensive.
Yeah. So is it that we all just need to strip down and drop our own...
That's probably where I look at it. Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, I mean, again, it's completely open for debate. But we had a similar thing with my Uncle Francisco on the show last week or week before, because in Uruguay they tried to bring in this thing that you're not allowed to call black people negros.
Right.
Now, negros in Spanish is not nigger. Very different thing.
Negros.
No.
Is it not even?
No.
Okay.
Negros is, again, being sort of, let's say, hijacked by... in America or somewhere. I don't know the story about that one. I know nigger's definitely an insult, because I think that comes from France, I believe. And it's a word specifically for black slaves. Yeah. Right?
But it's derogatory. It's not just calling them black.
No. It's essentially a slave master, let's say, and that culture, that kind of calling black people black slaves, nigger. It's bad. It's a no-go. But in Spanish, negro equals black. Not anything else, right? So the government tried to bring in this thing where, now you need to call everyone Afro-Uruguayan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And, in these socialist governments, they do a lot of good things, but sometimes they sort of get in the way of common sense or whatever, freedoms. And there was a huge backlash in our own country. Like the black people were like, dude, I'm black. If you want to call me, I'm black. Why wouldn't you call me? But what's wrong with being black? And that's what I mean. They kind of flipped it back on them. They're saying, like, why is it an insult to be black?
Right. But
I'm
maybe
black and
some
I'm beautiful.
weren't okay with that.
Yeah, but it's a very noisy minority usually that kind of takes up these causes and these. And I'm thinking again, this whole Black Lives Matter thing and Antifa and all this. I'm purposely not an expert, because I've stayed out of it and haven't read too much into it, because I think all of these movements, unfortunately, are hijacked by all different powers and movements, and there's reasons behind all of that, division being a huge one, and then political gain and whatever else, right? But black is beautiful.
Yes, absolutely.
And brown and gold and every color in between.
People are beautiful.
Yeah.
And we just need acceptance. Acceptance is key.
Yeah.
And also being a little bit open, not a little bit, completely open to people's experiences and what it feels like for them. No different to calling someone fat, no different to calling a woman.
Yeah. The intention behind it is a huge thing. Yeah. And it's a word that I've been throwing around a lot these past few months or years. Intention is a huge thing. You can say nice things.
It's all of it.
It's a big part of it, because you can say nice things with a bad intention.
Yeah.
No good. You can say so-called
but specifically
bad things.
calling people names.
Yeah.
You know, that's a whole different thing. But you know, for me, the reality that I live in
Sure.
of racism
Yeah.
is just my reality has been that there hasn't been a positive portrayal
Yeah.
of a woman that looks like me enough
Indeed.
in what I see, in what I read, in what I
Sure.
absorb.
Sure.
And that
Sure.
luckily for me, you
Yeah.
know, hasn't impacted me the way I've seen it impact other women.
Yeah. Yeah.
My brother's
Yeah.
again a completely different thing, and he's experienced really
His
like,
path was different to yours. Yeah.
aggressive racism,
Sure.
where you know it's people. You know, he'll, you know, if I accidentally cut someone off in the street, they're like, fuck you and keep going. But my brother, they'll get fuck you, nigga. Like,
Wow.
do you know what I mean? So it's a different experience, you know. So you can't say to someone, oh, well, it's all just an agenda and it's all like in your head. It's not. It's a reality for a lot of people, and it's just a conversation that we need to have.
Oh, no. I'm definitely not trying to say that.
And I
by
know
the
you're
way.
not. And I know
Oof,
you're not.
No way.
But like, I think in general, like, I
Yeah.
think it needs to, I just wanted to say that it
Yeah.
needs to be, you know, you just need to listen to people's stories and understand.
Yeah, man.
and
Just be
stop
cool.
yeah.
More love. More love.
And teach the kids. Like, it's all
Yeah.
about the generation. Like, you got to teach them
That's the
what we
change.
fucked up.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Like,
Yeah, that's a change, man.
Yeah.
And parenting is such an important.
parenting, teaching, like,
yeah,
if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
someone's influencer, like,
Sure,
whatever. You just
yeah.
need to be the change that you want to see.
Indeed, and actually, one of the reasons why we started this show was because of that, to bring to light, you know, some of these cool stories and to show love and to support. We've said it a few times with other guests and even talking with other people that unfortunately we don't. When I say we, I say all of us here in Sydney, besides the sort of select few that, you know, for whatever reason are on some TV show or some reality TV show, or they've got, you know, some very commercial careers. There's no real sort of media. There's no press. There's no sort of coverage of what we do, right?
Yeah.
Very little. So in a way, it's nice to be able to, you know, build this studio, turn the cameras on, and tell some of these stories. You know.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah,
It's great that
yeah.
you do this stuff. You're
Yeah.
always such a hustler. I really admire that about
Thank
you.
you.
And no matter what's going on in the world,
Yeah,
Raf
well-
finds a way to do something fun,
Yeah,
keep people
you know what?
engaged, bring community together.
Oh, thank you.
You know, and
thank you.
that's what we're going to be remembered for. You know, when
Yeah,
we live.
yeah.
Like,
It's nice
what
to
did you
have that
do?
impact.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no doubt about
Yeah.
it. But thank you very much to Paulie on that, because obviously without him this wouldn't be
Yeah.
possible. And also the amazing guests that we have on the show so far, and
Yeah.
here you are. Another amazing one with us, Lisa. I'm going to bring up something.
Jeez.
Where's
changing the energy?
Wow,
why
muscular.
So that just
fucking-
like
yeah, fuck.
peak.
why the lack of music being released this past whatever few months, years?
That's a tough one. Yeah, I haven't released a song since February last year.
It's not easy, right?
It's
Putting
not
out
easy.
music and
It's
trying to
not
make a living
easy.
from it in Australia.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest thing, right?
There, I mean, look, there's just no look. It
Anywhere
depends.
in the
It
world,
depends what
actually.
lane. Yeah, it depends what lane you're in. Like, you know, there's some people doing some really great indie stuff because
Sure.
this is the lane that I'm in. It's not
Yep.
something I can make a
Yep.
living from.
Niches,
You know,
yeah.
it's a niche. You know, I get my gigs here and there.
Sure.
And it's usually around promotion. So I've just really focused my, you know,
Yeah.
myself on just, okay, well, this is what I do. I create art. And that's what I
Right.
do. I'm not going to put the pressures of, okay,
Yeah.
it needs to pay my bills, it needs to do this, it needs to do that, because
Sure.
that will change your art and that will change what
Sure.
you think is right to do.
Puts a lot of pressure on you, makes
Yeah.
you do things perhaps you wouldn't want
Yeah,
to
exactly.
do, compromise
Yeah.
and so on. Yeah.
So I'm in the best place I've ever been in because
Sure.
I literally can say yes or no to things. I'm not like that desperate artist. I have to take this gig, or I have to take this
Sure.
paid Instagram post, or I have to do this. No, I take what I want that feels right, that feels authentic, that
Sure.
I know my audience is going to like.
Yep.
So that's a really great place to be. But that also means I need a bunch of side hustles, or, you know, so I'm always like working, I'm always doing something. I'm in
Yeah.
the e-com space at the moment, and I'm hoping to have my own thing going, you know, within the next 12 months.
You're calling me a hustler?
You are a hustler. Is that not good? Is that a good thing?
No, you're calling me. I'm staring at
okay.
one right now.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, you know, because
No, man.
I know how
Look,
hard it is. So.
I think we need more hustle spirit in womankind.
Oh, you think so?
I think so, most
Okay.
definitely. Yeah.
Lisa,
So,
you should
respect.
be asking Rafa the same question he asked you.
Oh, what's that?
Why hasn't he had to release a song in so many years?
Boom.
Oof.
Boom.
Actually, you know, if
Because you've been hustling too. You've been hustling
what's
too.
that devil laugh for,
That
man?
was a bit crazy.
Yeah, it looks like he was holding that one
Yeah.
up his sleeve for a long time, Paulie. You Devil laugh, bastard. No. Man, that's a great question. And actually, one of life's greatest probably questions or queries to myself. But thankfully, I'm in a different place and things are flowing really nicely on that front. Perhaps even after the show. You haven't seen my recording studio, of course you haven't.
We'll go.
Paulie didn't show it to you, right?
No. Is there a question? Why are you laughing? Is there not one?
I thought when I was a little bit busy before, I thought Paulie might do the tour,
his
but
answer is very
that must be
It's
be for special guests only.
Hey, you want to check out my studio?
Yeah.
No, Paulie.
But look, sometimes you just got to create because you love it. You don't necessarily have to be shown
Yeah.
to the world. Like, I have not stopped writing. I've been writing
Yeah.
more in the last 2
Me
years,
too, me
right?
too.
Than
Yeah.
I have ever have.
Yeah.
And I'm working with different people. But
it's a lengthy process.
Yeah, it is. And to answer your
Lengthy.
question
Tell
completely,
me.
it's just that I wasn't ready.
Sure.
Because I felt I got to a place where, okay, my music was just doing what it could do. I needed time to develop as an artist.
Sure.
So I've really
What's
been
next?
working on my
Yeah,
craft.
yeah.
And I also knew that the next single I put out, I'm not doing it on my own. Because it's a different environment now. Back when I first released my single, we had things called organic reach. And they've just monetized the shit out of all these platforms.
Tell me about it.
So, you know, like...
Bloody Mark Zuckerberg.
And that's
YouTube.
fine. Look, you build something that great. You know, you're going to want to monetize it at some point. I'm not hating. I'm just saying it's a different environment now. So putting out a song and thinking that, you know, it's just going to go viral or it doesn't happen like that. Even the biggest artists have got massive marketing budgets behind them on their social media campaigns.
That's the way it works.
Right?
They've made it that way.
Yeah. So I definitely have some, you know, some people that I'm working with, you know, to make sure that next time I release, it's big. And I have stuff ready to go.
You've got that engine.
And I'm planning on being in Africa. I was planning on being in Africa this year. So I'm working with some people over there. And
Because are you going back to Perth?
I'm going back to Perth on Thursday.
Oh, wow.
To see out the rest of the year. And
Very
then
nice.
hopefully by January I can get everything else sorted. And we'll see though. I don't want to say too much because you just never know what's going to happen.
Family's still in Perth, right?
My family's still in Perth, yeah.
Oh,
so I'm going to go be
Very
auntie
nice.
for a month or two.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
That's my favourite thing to
4.5 hours to beautiful Perth.
4.5 hours to Perth, land, and then I have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah. At home. I get to do it at home now, which is good. Before, it was you had to do it at the hotel.
Yeah.
But I can quarantine at home. It's going to be tough, but it's all right. It's only 2 weeks.
Nah, well, man, if you want to do something under the current world that we live in, that's what you got to, you know, that's what you got to do. They're the cards we get dealt. But sounds like a nice summer ahead in WA.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And my brother is a musician too. So we have a full, like you, we have a full recording studio at home.
Good.
And we just write. His partner sings and helps me songwrite too. So
oh wow!
So I love being home. I do my best work when I'm at my
some
brother's
creative
house.
juices that will flow back home. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing what comes next for Lisa Viola. Do remember us, little people. You can come and see us with.
We can do a collab, you know.
Hey,
Rafa on some Afro beats.
We can do that. Or likewise, anything that we can help with as far as getting it out. Thanks. I might have, you know, a few thousand people here or there, you know.
Perfect.
Sounded so gay. No. But exciting times, I'm sure, because out of every crisis comes opportunity. Mm-hmm. And as tough as 2020 is for all of us, not so much for some, but for others, maybe more so. It's a good time to, you know, channel some of those energies into areas that haven't seen so much light.
I've really enjoyed this year.
Really?
Bad?
Me too.
Like, it's been tough.
Me
like,
too.
There's been times, you know.
Me too.
I felt the beginning of the year was really tough with so much happening. That social media explosion of everything, all the hashtags, all the movements, all the
very heavy.
I got
heavy.
straight into that hole of like I watched all the David Icke stuff and was just really trying to enlighten myself, trying to get some alternative viewpoints, alternative media, to digest some of that, to not just be completely. But I found that very exhausting, and I just unplugged. And once I unplugged and just went back, I felt better. I felt like all of this didn't matter.
Yeah.
All of it didn't matter.
Funny you say exactly that, because I can relate 100% with what you just said. And I know at least of another 3 or 4 like-minded people that went through exactly the same thing. And I think that was almost like a small journey in the greater journey that had to be had. But I think that we still need to keep up the fight, the informational fight, let's say, because I think a lot of the things that are going on are wrong. But at the same time, if we spend too much time and energy on that, then we know we don't allow ourselves to grow and flow and, do all these cool things that we need to do with our time, our short time here on planet Earth.
Exactly. And I think just feeling back to just feeling what's right and what's good helps us evolve to that point. Yeah. Because when you're just given so much information that you're just told so many different things that you're still being told, whether it's right or wrong, you know what I mean? But when you just unplug and you just let it all go, and you're just left with you and the universe or God or whatever.
Oh man, what a beautiful place to be! Yeah.
But and then something's not right, you see it.
Yes.
So if the government's telling you or whoever's telling you, oh, you got to do this, it doesn't feel right because you're so connected, you're so centered. You're like, okay, well that doesn't quite.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's
there's a level
intuition
of intuition comes back.
Yeah, indeed.
It's like when you travel. Have you ever traveled on your own?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've done a few trips on
but
my
I just
own.
wanted to make sure y'all knew that. So when you travel on your own, when you travel on your own, there are new instincts that pop up. Like your intuition kicks in.
So
you smell, your sight, everything is just
sight, know,
but that's because all of a sudden you're out of your comfort zone. You're out of being like the autonomous, being told what to do, where to go, and
you're
all
running
of a sudden,
on cruise control.
That's it. You're not on time anymore. It's a different situation. And I think that's kind of what needed to happen this year. Like, let's go back to what feels right, because we are just overloaded with information 24/7.
We're way overstimulated. Even people who are not anywhere near sort of the, let's call them the bad levels or the more extreme levels, all of us are so overstimulated and distracted. Distracted, constantly distracted, like never, ever before in humanity. And what's that going to lead to? I don't know, but it's one huge science experiment that...
We're fighting it, though, I feel.
Yeah, definitely.
The instinct is to fight it. I feel like the natural instinct is to go, I need to get away from this. Like, I need to get off.
The Matrix, Look, I believe there's a polarization going on, which is usually, in historical terms, what happens when big changes occur. There's a huge polarization and then like a snap, And then sometimes through, real bad situations, then you end up with like a new thing or a better thing, sometimes a worse thing. But equally, as I find people, let's say, waking up, even though that's a term that's very debatable and controversial for me anyway, I find that there's also a lot of people kind of countering that whole thing, and they take pride in following. I think people or parties are equally guilty on both those sides, because ultimately strength and the solution is always in unity. But I think you can definitely see this polarization going on, and it's getting nasty because, if you and I 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago disagreed with something, let's say you vote Liberal and I vote Labor, we're cool.
Yeah. We're not voicing our opinions
or
on
perhaps
social media.
or perhaps we might say, you know what, man, fuck you. You voted Liberal, man, but I love you. Let's have a drink, right? Or let's not talk about politics.
Yeah, but they switched it up.
Right.
They did it on purpose.
But now it's like, fuck you, how dare you fucking say that, look at the links, rah, cancel you, and then they believe that you should be censored.
But they did that.
I know this. I know this. I know this, but that's it. The conversation could also be had or go down to, well, we're all following though as a humanity. So, whose fault is it? We're all whatever, but that's probably for another show.
Have you read Sapiens?
No.
Read the book Sapiens. I can't remember the name of the author. It's Yuval something.
Uh-huh.
You have to read it.
That sounds like my kind of book.
It is your kind of book.
Thank you. I'm going to look up that Sapiens. Obrigado by Yuval something.
Yuval something. I'm so bad remembering. Can you look it up?
Yes, Paulie can look it up. Wake
Sapiens.
him up.
You're going to love it. And if it wasn't for that book, this year would be so much harder for me.
Oh, wow.
Someone told me to read it, so I'm passing it on.
Very current.
I'm passing it on.
It's by... Sorry, I had it. Yuval Noah Harari.
He was a Yuval.
I got the first one.
I'm sure
takes you
he's
through
ready,
the
no?
history of mankind in his bestseller. Listen now. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
Sapiens, thank you so much
No
for the
worries.
tip. Lisa, inspirations, particularly with regards to music. You know, what would you say are your more inspirational artists that have influenced you in your music?
There's just such a lack of female artists, I feel, especially in where I'm at. You know, there's not a lack of female artists. There's a lack of support for female artists. So I see that. I'm feeling that more and more. Tiwa Savage is like my ultimate. Like if I could ever do a collab, it would be her. But I think it's because of that. It's because that she has a voice for females in a very male-driven arena.
Yeah.
And she just does it so well, you know. I just think she sings so beautifully. Her lyrics are great. Like, and she's just, I just love her.
Is that someone growing up though, or is that like more current?
That's more current. That's more who I've been listening to like in the last 8 years.
Okay. Cool.
Growing up, I was a pop girl. Yeah, like oh my God, I think the first album was TLC. That's like R&B pop.
Sure.
That was,
Which
I think,
album?
the first album. Was it TLC? Was it called TLC?
Crazy Sexy Cool?
Crazy Sexy Cool. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, good on you. Yeah.
I shoplifted
I
that
still
album.
remember. Did you?
From Los Angeles Airport. It was a tape.
Okay. Wow. It's a
Brought it
tape.
ba-
Yeah, I had
brought
a
it-
CD though.
Brought it back to Australia, and it took about 6 months for it to be heard here.
Wow.
Back in those days, it used to take a long
okay,
time.
So
I shoplifted
did take a while. I remember.
TLC, Crazy Sexy Cool, and Brandy, I Want to Be Down.
Right.
2 albums.
See, I never got into that album. I wish I had, because I
Yeah.
felt like it would have played more of a part in my musicality, because everyone that can like really, really sing R&B knows Brandy, and I just didn't get into her young, like I wasn't into her.
Yeah.
But TLC, and then what other albums did I have? Like Mariah Carey.
Of course. All right.
But that was like my mum was listening to Mariah Carey,
Sure.
Celine Dion.
Wow, big voices.
Yeah, but she had a very like Western collection of music. But then she also had, you know, her like samba, samba, you know what I mean? Like more the South American
The cultural
and Afro.
stuff. Yeah. That
But
beautiful...
she loved Brazilian music. I remember always
Yeah,
having
well,
Brazilian
I was
music in
about to
the
say
house.
that beautiful melting pot of everything Afro, you know?
Yeah.
Afro from Africa,
And then
Afro from the
Gypsy
Caribbean.
Kings as well. Like it was a very diverse, but she loved ABBA. She loved Phil Collins. So I know like those albums back to front.
Sure.
Because that's what I was listening to.
Yeah, I can relate very much so.
Joshua Caddison also. I don't know if you remember that. He sang a song called Jessie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I knew his album, Painted Desert Serenade, back to front, still do. Love it.
Very white, very pop, right?
Yeah, very mad piano bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can see that sort of coming through.
Yeah, that was my...
The different, different streams,
and then
the
I got
different
into
current streams. Yeah.
And then R&B when I was in high school, because that was like, that was the, you know, that time where it was just all popping, like Jagged Edge and all that. That was all the vibe at high school. And I remember this guy who had a crush on me, he used to make me these CDs, like mixtapes.
Sure.
And that's where, like, that was my plug. He was my R&B plug.
Well, you got your attention by the sounds of it.
Yeah. Oh, we're still like best friends. But
There you go.
yeah,
He was in the
always-
friend zone. Lisa
he
put
was
him in the friend zone.
I should have married him too. He was really...
Should we shout him out?
He
No.
would have made a good husband.
We actually have him on the phone now.
Hi! He has nothing but nice things to say about me.
I'm sure he does.
I paid him.
Look. Very cool, Lisa Viola. You've spent a lot of time on stage, from dancing to performing to cover to everything. Most embarrassing moment and best moment on stage?
That's a really cool question.
It's actually 2.
2 questions. Very nice. The question that keeps on giving.
There you go.
Most
You can give more than
embarrassing.
one example
Yeah.
if you feel the
Okay.
need to. This
Yeah.
is the expansion
Yeah.
podcast. I'll
Yeah.
give you 2 questions.
Yeah.
You can expand into 15 answers.
Yeah.
Go for it.
One of the
Thank you.
most defining moments of my life is the first time I set foot on stage, because I fell flat on my face.
Oh.
And it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I had to get up. I remember it clearly. I had to get up. I had to make a decision.
Sure.
Because we were little ballerinas, and I was the leader. I was the leading ballerina. I won the trophy that year for best in class. So they all ran out into the stage, and they all did a semicircle around me. And I was in the middle of the semicircle and literally led the entire routine. Because they were like 5-year-olds. I don't know what they're fucking doing, but I did, because I was like, this is my shit.
That's right. Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I literally was the first one out, and I fell flat on my face. And everyone went,
Shit.
this
You
is like
can probably hear it. You
this
can
is an
probably hear it.
auditorium, yeah.
Yeah, you can
And
still hear it in your
that was
subconscious.
most embarrassing, but the defining moment, and that's what made me me, because I don't care now. I don't get embarrassed.
It's good to get it out of the way
give a
early.
fuck. Like if I mess up, whatever, like I just had that confidence now because I got up and I did the rest of the routine in front of those fucking little girls, and then I still got the trophy.
Wow. Well, there you go.
So that was it. So that was
5-year-old,
embarrassing.
5, 6.
I was 5, and I still
Wow.
remember it because it was
Respect.
everything.
It builds
And
character.
It
they
builds
say.
character. I did
Sure.
cry like my little heart out, and I didn't want to go back for my second because I had 2 routines that year. And I remember my mum being backstage and being like, "You have to go out. You have to go out. If you don't go, you're not going to feel good."
Yeah.
And I did, and I was like, "Yeah, she was right."
Well, we can probably say that with a low starting point like that,
You can only go
it's
up.
been on the way up ever
Yeah,
since.
you can only go up from there, bro. Like if that's not the most embarrassing.
Sure.
thing. And as a kid too, like you're so fragile.
Big impact. Yeah,
Yeah,
big
you're
impact.
so fragile. So
And absolute best highlight or best moment or best moments.
I have lots of good moments, but the best moment was when I was with Kimani Mali.
Wow.
And we did the what was it? Yeah, which country? I can't remember. It was Woodstock in Finland. No, where was it? Poland.
Wow.
Woodstock. And
Boom.
like I don't know if you could probably maybe you could find that footage.
Paulie, how about you do some work, brother?
But
Thank you.
If you but if you can find that, it was 2014, I think. Kimani Mali, Woodstock, Poland.
What were you doing?
I was his backup singer.
Wow,
Yeah,
cool.
I was his backup
man.
singer.
Respect. I had no idea.
It was a different dynamic though from what he usually does because he only had one backup singer that year.
Okay.
It was just me, and he kind of, God bless him, featured me quite a bit in his show. So like I came out, like started the show, and like he gave me like solo parts, and I had a dance solo and sing solo. Like he
that's
really
crazy.
featured me, and he would be like,
I had
"Lisa
no
Viola." Yeah, I don't know why, like because I wasn't a very good backup singer to be honest.
How did that come about?
I was a shit backup singer.
How did that come about?
I was in.
Is that it?
No, Manu Chao.
Just put Mali, put Kimani maybe.
Kimani Mali. I want to see him spell it.
KY. That was close. KY.
I'm enjoying this again.
KYMANI.
I love putting Paulie under the pump in these situations.
And then A
and I.
and I. It's funny that's not come up yet.
Oh, Rafa.
There we go.
There you go. Thanks, Paulie. We love you, brother.
Yeah.
I love Kimani Mali. I love all this kind of music, man. It's awesome.
Go down one. I think it's the second one. Well, I don't know.
Well, we can play that in the background. So is it like?
But this was the craziest moment because of the amount. Look at the people.
Oh wow! To see it, people, man, that's awesome.
Like I couldn't not see where the people ended.
For everyone on Spotify and Apple
There's
Podcasts,
Richie,
we're looking at the awesome concert, Kimani Mali on stage, Woodstock in Finland.
Yeah. Was it
There's
Finland?
like 10,
No, was it
20,000
Finland?
people.
I can't
Poland.
remember. Poland. I don't know. But
Yeah,
I was
look
there,
Polish
I
from
promise. There I am. Drinking
There she
water.
is. I remember the blonde stage.
Yeah, blonde when I shaved all the back.
Uh-huh.
You've seen all the hair stages.
Yeah, pretty much. There's been a few of them, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that. Just change my look.
You can.
Yeah, yes.
Why not? You can get
Ah,
some
well,
extensions,
for-
get some locks.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I might
can
go
see you
for
as
that.
a Rasta man.
Yeah, I think so, man.
You're a
I think
Rasta
it'll
at heart.
really, really, really suit me.
You would.
I think I just saw, hey, there's a Uruguayan flag, man. There's always a Uruguayan somewhere, man.
Yeah.
That's what I love about my people.
And they
man.
always bring a flag.
There's 3 million Uruguayans in the world, and you always find one somewhere doing something. Thank you.
But as a performer, like that doesn't get any better. And even Kimani, he goes, remember this because this is as good as it gets.
Man, of course.
And
plus, man,
it
super
wasn't
pros
my show,
and-
but
yeah.
just the fact that I was on that stage, like
Yeah.
I walked out and I started crying because I can't remember where we were beforehand, but I didn't see the sea of people. And then when we walked out, I was literally
Lisa.
crying. I was like, what the fuck? This was just hectic.
Beautiful energy, right?
Yeah, it was a really nice. It was in. You know what was really amazing was that it was a non-English speaking country,
And they were still rocking.
and they knew every word to the
Yeah,
Bob
yeah,
Marley
yeah.
songs.
I hear that a lot. A lot of people are surprised, like in Eastern European countries.
Yeah, they just
I can't
loved
remember who
reggae.
was telling a story. They went to Russia, when the fall of the Berlin Wall, and they were singing. I think it was Rolling Stones, actually. Yeah, Rolling Stones. And everyone knew their lyrics. Obviously, no idea what they're singing, but they actually knew the lyrics, which is pretty cool. And since we're on the screen, we like to do this thing called show and tell, where we show some photos, some images, and things, interesting things that we find on on social media and things, and we invite our guests to make some comments on what they see. Sure. They can say whatever they want. There's no what am I saying? There's no expectations.
If that doesn't sum me up as a performer, I don't know what. Hi, kids. How are we doing today?
That's cool. But you know what, though? Credit also to Celio, the photographer.
Yeah.
I think I was saying before, live shots are quite hard to get, especially in nightclubs. And stages may be a little bit harder, but this is a nightclub, and to get all three performers in this one all kind of looking good, because normally, one will have like their tongue sticking out, or one eye closed, but everyone's good in this one.
Nice, yeah.
Looking very
I
classy.
loved working with those girls. I just thought they were so perfect for what we were doing.
Yeah.
So that was a really nice time.
Yeah.
That was a really nice time back then.
What was the name of that single?
That was...
Because isn't this the...
Was that the Shaggy one?
Something with Shaggy.
Yeah, Shaggy, yeah.
Is that the Shaggy one?
Yeah, man.
Okay, that was the Shaggy one.
Yeah, because we launched... Look,
Show Me the Way.
actually,
Show me the way.
I think we might have done it over 2 events from memory for some reason.
You very graciously hosted
the launch of the video. I remember that clearly. Yeah, I remember that clearly.
And
but
then
a
week later, you asked me to come and perform.
That's what it was. See, I knew I was right.
Because I didn't perform that night.
That's right.
And you were like, come back and perform. Because I was like, I don't want to perform. It was like too hectic.
No, but it was perfect because
the
launch was like a cool sort of family industry vibe, with the screen and everything.
Yeah. So
and then this was the bread and butter nightclub show.
Yeah.
Get in, smash them, and get out.
And it's always hard. Like when you're an independent artist, you're performing songs that people have never heard.
Very
especially
hard.
in a nightclub, right?
Especially in this country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously, there's the stage restrictions and everything.
Yes,
like sound,
everything. Yeah.
So you just have to really try and make do with what you have. But I felt that was a good gig. Like I think people, appreciated it.
Definitely.
And we always put it, as you can see, we always put in effort. Like,
oh man, for
that's
sure.
what I was saying about the difference between females and males. Like if I showed up in my jeans without makeup, fucked up off my face, without my dancers, and just was like, yo, what's up, everyone?
100%.
Right?
100%.
And it would have got paid the same or whatever, but it's just there's a different expectation for a woman, so but we always bring
you do it very well. And actually I wish there was more talented females and males going around doing more. I wish as a nightclub promoter I could.
Oh really?
Yeah.
See, that's interesting. Maybe we need to create a platform for that, because I feel like there's so many artists like, it's so hard to get a gig, you can't get a gig.
Yeah, I mean, putting my promoter hat on now, I mean, you're always going to think, obviously, the business and what does this person bring to the table. So my experience with a lot of local people is obviously everyone expects to be paid and has certain expectations from the promoter, but in return, what does the event or the promoter get?
Yeah.
And I think that's where people aren't really sort of making the effort. It's almost like...
They want to get paid, but...
Yeah, fuck you, I come by myself, what? Fuck everybody, I'm the best, like my shit's so good, and if they don't like it, fuck you. Like, nah, man, it's not really the...
That's not how it works.
No, not at all, not at all.
And I had to learn that too.
Yeah.
I think in this sort of a setting, it's more like about promoting a single. You just want to get it in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So I was
and the
always...
content,
yeah. But when it's... sometimes like the shows, like when it's a touring show and they need it, they want you to do a 20-minute set to keep people entertained.
Yeah.
That's work for me.
Yes.
So I'm like, I'm not going to do that for free. And a lot of promoters would expect that. And I'm like, no. Like if I'm coming and I'm entertaining your crowd because they're sitting there waiting for the main act, that is still me doing my job. Okay, maybe I'm not bringing people through the door, but that's entertainment.
No. Yeah, you're holding the crowd. You're holding time. Yeah.
So that's a bit different.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I think again, these conversations I think are really important.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be something you touch on with your artists so the new artists understand that, because as a young artist, I didn't get that, and I had to learn and grow into that.
Yeah, but I think equally, like a lot of people are great in the studio. They might be great songwriters, but they need to really develop their live show as a craft.
Yeah, whereas I was the other way around. I was like, I knew what I wanted to do with my live show, and then working out the music. Okay,
cool, but you can see that, you can feel that, and you can appreciate that when you perform and when people like you perform. It's polished and it's fun and it's as it should be.
When was the last time you did a show?
I
was actually trying to think, because I don't think I've actually ever seen you perform live.
When I got out in 2010 till 2011, 2012, I was doing a few things, and then a few things kind of didn't go my way, I guess, and sort of the wheels fell off, and it's just been I remember just bits and pieces here and there, but something that I very much enjoy and I look forward to getting back into.
Well, you have such a great stage persona too, like with your MC
it can
stuff.
be. I think like anyone else, you need to. Yeah, I've got that obviously, but I think like anything else, you got to sort of develop it, because even the greatest performers, they kind of they kind of do a few gigs to get into it. Yeah.
With all the performing I've done, I still feel like I'm not good enough. I still go back to the table every time. Go, okay, we've got this show coming up. Like, I need to be better. Like, that was so bad. Like, I always think my last show was so bad. Is that?
Yeah. I remember myself, like, the progression from let's say, the beginning of Villa Familia to what we ended up doing towards the end, seeing that kind of, that curve, as far as the vibe that we began creating on stage and honing in on what you're wearing and lighting. I mean, we never got to those shows that are fully kind of automated and everything.
You're so lucky. You're so lucky to get to that point.
Oof.
I've like done it 2 or 3 times in my own stuff. Yeah.
Unfair advantage.
Yeah. No, but it's true. Like, honestly, like, to get to that point, and that's the other thing we don't realize, because you see all these big shows and you want to look like that and sound like that and be like that, and you just can't. So much more involved because you just don't have the resources.
No.
So
and again, kind of seeing what we achieved very organically, very sort of bumping our heads against every wall you could possibly bump your head against, but in those years, I mean, I could imagine a performer that just keeps going and going and going and going, you understand? So that was pretty exciting, and you never know, hopefully with some of the things we're doing very quietly in the background.
Good.
Something might pop up soon, and you might get an invite to come
let's do it.
Check out a gig
I'll be your
homeboy. You never know.
Yeah,
you never know. Maybe collaboration. Now, this is a cool pick.
It's a cool pick. That's because it was taken by Daniel Sabunet.
And it's a good man.
He's a good man. That's my brother right there.
Yeah.
Daniel has like shot every single video for me. So we have like a collaborative kind of relationship as far as he's he's just supported me from day one. And again, it was like we support each other. Like, all his projects I've always been, there for. And it's when you're an independent artist, you rely a lot on your network and your collaborations, because let's be real, like from a commercial standpoint, some of my videos could have cost $10,000.
Sure.
And when you're doing it independently, like, it's hard to, like, every time $10,000 to put out.
How are you going to get that back?
That's right. So he's just been someone that saw the vision and I think wanted to grow as well.
Sure.
So that's the other thing I would say to any upcoming artists: find people that are on your level and grow with them. Don't expect that it's going to be like, every time.
I think
and reciprocate too. Like, I think a lot of artists think, oh, it's all on me, and like, blah, blah, blah. But like, I've been a real fan of his work too, and like been a part of other things that he's wanted to do. So it's been a 2-way channel, which has been nice.
Yeah, I think the way you gotta kind of attack it is, let's all be aware that obviously there's not a lot of money in this. To start, and
even when there is, you're paying it back. It's all alone. Even if you have a label, it's not guaranteed.
If you go for a label, but let's just say, even all the way up to, if there was a middle, like, middle people still struggle to they would struggle to come up with budgets for quality films, right? But if you can build bridges and find ways to work with each other and kind of
And there's no budget on creativity, So,
True.
This man has shot all my videos as a one-man team.
Daniel's amazing. Actually, I was catching up with Timo Matic, who's agreed to come on the show and hang out with us sometime soon. We're just waiting for a confirmation. Really looking forward to that. Incredibly talented human being. But I'll say, yo, Timo, like, who's the film clip guy? Like, who's in your, And he goes, Daniel.
Yeah.
I go, Daniel, man, I know Daniel, fuck.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, bro? Like, actually, I was already talking to him. This was recently. And it's like, all right, cool, man. Thank you, man. I was like,
do you remember the time that he brought, because I was at the club doing a show for you, and he called me, and it was like, what, 12 a.m., 1 a.m. or something? I just finished on stage, and he's like, I've got the first edit of your video, I want you to see it. And he drove to the club, and we all got in his car and watched the first cut of the video together.
I remember that clearly.
But that's how he works. Like, he just loves what he does.
Oh, man, he's a very passionate man, and you can tell in all his work and everything, and he's got he's got the eye, and he's got all those things that make a great filmmaker and videographer and content creator and everything this amazing man is doing. I mean, right now,
and he's so young. Like, sometimes you forget how young he is. Like,
even
30 yet.
Even just on his Instagram, the stuff that he's doing at home, playing around with drones and stuff. I mean, I say playing around with all due respect, but and he's coming up with all this incredible,
it looks like a movie. No, he's
so hopefully we can catch up with the brother, and hopefully he'll have a shave.
And he'll have a shave. No. So what I love about this picture too, this was the first time I was able to take a crew member with me to a show because they allowed it in the budget. So they're little things, little wins and little victories as an independent artist, but they're luxuries because I always would have to travel on my own. Or I would never be able to take an entourage, or they'd never have budget to fly more than just one person. This is the first time I was able to go, hey Daniel, we're going to Melbourne. It's all expenses paid, everything's good. Like, I need you to be there as my crew to document it. I had my girlfriend there as well, and it was awesome. Like,
another big thing with touring women and how much harder it is for them versus men is the styling aspect of it, because obviously women, it's a big investment, hair, makeup, time and skill, but particularly time, because when you're touring, it's usually like transport to airport, transport to your city, transport to your hotel, transport to sound check, and then so when do you get ready? When do you have like minimum 1 hour? So
you got to just be on the fly. I didn't sleep that day, as you can see.
I reckon you look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Kind of 80s, no?
Yeah,
doing
my hair's a bit 80s. Well, that was the inspo of the room as well. The room looked like a real band room.
Okay.
And like, I know a good band room because I did cover bands for so long.
There you go.
But this was like a real band room, and there was like Kylie Minogue and In Excess, and there was all these real kind of like 80s, like pop stars and grunge stars in there. So I was like, that's so cool, and that's why we look a bit hard.
Hello. There's your shorts, Paulie.
There we go. Oh yeah, I shouldn't have said that before. I really am in hot pants all the time, so it seems.
In this one you are.
But just I think what I meant to say was I wouldn't get on a podium in hot pants for just anyone. I think that's what I meant to say.
Sure. Because thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. Because now it just seems like I'm lying because every second shot I'm in hot pants. Right, Paulie? Right, Paulie? I'm just a big liar.
Miami Fridays, one of the brands that I do pre-COVID, and Lisa came and performed with us, and that was the night.
Wasn't that the same show?
Yeah, actually, funny you say that. So the live shot this is the flyer for the show that she did.
Look how flat
the
my
live
stomach
shot.
Is in that.
Beautiful photo, actually. Who did this?
2020 ruined me.
Wine?
No, I've been good. I did 3 months no drinking this year.
Okay, so off. Good to hear.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just that because I've been, sometimes they say it's not the weight, it's the weight off your shoulders. I feel like it's been a little bit of that.
Look, alcohol needs to be respected a lot more than we do in our society. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But I'm not dancing as much, and it's the whole. Working out because I have a show or whatever. So, when you have
short-term
no reason,
focus. Yeah, short-term focus. And that was for Show Me the Way with the Shaggy.
Show Me the Way with Shaggy. And that was the promo shoot for Shaggy, for the
Man,
single.
gun photo. Who did this photo?
Oh, my God, he's going to kill me for forgetting his name. Dre. I can't remember his surname.
Very good photo.
Yeah. He's actually brilliant.
Yeah, please do.
Really, really good. I'm trying to remember how I
work
even know
with
him.
some cool photographers, but I might know him, you say?
Yeah, I'll send you his link.
Not a problem. Yeah. Next photo, please, Paulie. Thank
Marin.
you, brother.
Andre Marin? Or is it Andres Marin? How do you say it? Andres?
Andre?
Yeah.
Andres. Andres.
Andres Marin.
Andres Marin.
Yeah.
Why do I think I know
feel
that
like you
person?
know him.
Is he Latino?
Yeah.
There is a 99.9.
9.9 chance.
There's a 99.9,
Yeah, but he was great.
This is another amazing photo, woman.
Corinne took this.
Did she now?
Pretty sure on a phone.
Shout out to Coco. Man, that's a gunshot.
Do you think so?
Yeah, with your pockets out like that.
Oh, yeah.
What is that there?
That's just like pockets that I wanted to make it look Afro.
No, it looks amazing. It's cool detail, yeah.
Yeah.
And what's his AAMA? Is that like a...
So that's the African Australian Movie and Music Awards, and they used to do that every year, which I was so grateful for, and more people need to be doing things.
Yes,
like this,
man. Come on,
right?
that's what I was saying before. More media, more. That's what we need. Yeah.
You know,
more,
you
more
and Scrim
avenues.
would probably get along really well. So it's Daniel Scrim, who is very you. He's like the you. You're like the you of the Latin community.
Sure.
He's like the you of the African community.
Okay. What's his background? What nationality?
He's Nigerian.
Oh, okay.
He's light skinned.
He's from Nigeria.
He's light skinned though.
Uh-huh.
And he's awesome. He's just a hustler, and he's always doing so. Shout out Scrim, we love you, and really grateful that you had things like this.
Oh, that's your camera there.
Oh, I keep looking at this one. Sorry. Hi. Okay.
That's right. No, your cameras.
So yeah, he put this on, and that was the last one, I believe. Yeah.
Love this image.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coco. Thank you, Paulie.
Thanks, Coco.
And this is the same
that's a
shoot.
selfie. So that was
but
my.
how the fuck do you
EP.
get selfies like this all the? I mean, nowadays,
Lighting.
lighting. Yeah.
And it's funny because I did this, and I spent money on this whole photo shoot for my album cover.
Sure.
And I didn't like any photos. Like, nothing wrong with the creatives. They were brilliant.
It just didn't happen.
There was nothing
It's
there.
a moment thing. Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? My whole thing is, it's me. It's self-made. There isn't a record label or a budget or anything. There's just what I can fucking do. And that's why I chose this image.
Nailed it, man. That's an amazing photo.
I just wanted it to be like, okay, here's my
love
vibe.
it. Great
Smiley
colours.
girl.
Yeah.
It's kind of afro.
Big smile.
And I think, I don't know. I look back on it now and I'm like, oh God, I should have done a little bit more. But I think it was perfect for the time.
I think if you were to take that photo today and put it out today, it would be completely relevant, and I would go with it.
Oh, thanks.
Lisa Viola.
So that was a 7-track EP.
Ah, so this is the name of the EP.
Yeah, Amina.
Amina.
Yeah.
Meaning? Is that another acronym?
Yeah, no, it's not actually. It's actually, is it Shona? Oh, I can't remember. But it means with God.
Oh, so it's like a
saying.
African or...
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
cool.
Ugandan. What do they speak in Uganda? I'll have to call Moses.
Uganda speaks a lot of Swahili.
Swahili. No, I don't think it's Swahili.
But they also have...
They have, yeah.
Because they border onto Kenya and Tanzania, they
You
speak...
can call a friend on this show.
Can I call a friend?
Yeah, call a friend.
Woo! All right, I'm going to call my
Here we go. This will be the first...
Let's see if
call
he
a
answers.
friend on the
We've
show.
done it
Thank
many
you.
times.
Thank you
Really?
very much, Paul. When have we rang anybody?
Oh, that was another podcast I was on. So
Oh, is that another
Ape.
podcast you used to...
If he doesn't answer, I'm going to be so
When he
embarrassed.
picks up, he's going to be, what you want, bitch?
Yeah. No. Moses.
Yo,
Moses!
You got a yo.
You're on the podcast.
what podcast?
Podcast.
I actually asked you to come, remember?
Not tonight.
Yeah, I know. I'd asked you to come, but I'm calling because I'm allowed to call a friend.
Go
But-
on.
Amina.
You're being
Is
recorded.
Amina Swahili? The word?
No, Luganda.
That's right.
You're Ugandan.
Right, and it means with God.
Yes.
Right.
Well, you got it
There you
right.
go.
$10,000, Lisa Viola.
Amina. All right, so you're on the podcast. You were supposed to come with me tonight, but you never got back to my message. But that's okay. We'll talk about that another time.
Thank you, brother.
What podcast
So,
are we in?
MC Rafa.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So what's up?
Nothing, man. Just working.
We're on the
You're
show.
live.
We're on the show being recorded right now, man. So shout out to you, man, and thank you for helping us out with that. We're trying to clarify that on camera what Amina meant.
No worries. Happy to help. I'm just putting my decks together. I got to practice for the sets coming up.
Pulling his decks.
Dex. You know, you gotta
How
love that
dare you
Ugandan
think?
accent.
How dare you think anything else, Lisa Viola?
You thought the same thing.
No, I did not. You saw my face. I was very
when
serious.
You said, when there was an S on the end, I was like, how many does he have? All right, I'll speak to you later.
God
Thanks,
bless, man.
Moses.
Thank you.
Love you. Bye.
Big round of applause for Lisa Viola, the first phone a friend. Congratulations.
Yeah. And he actually answered.
And thank you to the brother,
Yes, Moses.
Mosese.
Moses.
Mosese.
DJ Black Magic.
Ah, Black Magic, man. He's
Yeah.
got all the names, man. Moses, Mosese,
No, we call
DJ
him,
Black
that's
Magic.
his house name. That's his pet name. We say Moses, but his name is
Killer.
actually Moses.
All right, man. Shout out to him. Thank
Yeah.
you for your help, brother. And congratulations again, Lisa. Next photo, please, Paulie.
I'm worried. Oh.
Boom!
Hi.
This is like...
Are my eyes uneven there? They look a bit like wonky. They're a bit wonky, aren't they?
No, they look good. It's a good photo.
You're lying. I can see you're laughing at
No,
me.
it's a really good photo. What are you talking about?
I think you're doing the whole,
Am I trying to be sexy? It doesn't
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah.
It doesn't. I just look
In
weird.
Spanish, we would say, te comiste la cámara.
Te comiste la...
Te comiste
Te
la
comiste
cámara.
la
Te
cámara.
comiste la
Rafa,
cámara.
can you say that
that-
in the camera? Look in the camera and say it.
Te comiste la cámara. You swallowed the camera.
Oh.
You know?
Swallow the camera.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It doesn't really translate well in English, but a lot of Spanish doesn't because
Most
it's got to be said with
languages.
a.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lisa Viola, Stop Me Cry.
That was the second single.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And the inspiration
Sing us a bit of
here was Angolan native people.
Sure.
From
They got
like
the-
southern. Yeah. They had they do these amazing like locks with their hair and they use the red mud. And that's
Uh-huh,
why
so
I
it's
got
that
that
colour
color.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
like all the beads and everything. I obviously popped it up a little bit, but
I remember seeing
was
this
the-
stage too.
yeah.
And this is, sing a little bit of this one for us.
Stop Me Cry.
Yeah.
Um,
Like a tiny
I
little
don't know,
bit.
which one? I don't know. What's the chorus? Do you miss me?
Thank you very
do you
much.
do you miss me?
I remember the time that came out.
I
remember
should have
seeing
called it
on
Do You
YouTube.
Miss Me? Do You Miss Me? Because Stop Me Cry always goes, Stop Me Cry,
Yeah.
what part? But Stop Me Cry is a very small part. Everyone sings Do You Miss Me?
I think when you write songs, it can go a few different ways, right? Sometimes there's like one real strong phrase, but doesn't represent the meaning of the whole song, so you
Yeah.
kind of go with something else. What do I know? But
Anyway,
awesome cover, awesome yet another awesome photo on from a woman who has a million awesome
do you
photos.
want to hear the funny story behind that?
Yes, please.
So it was my apartment, and next door they had a really cool pool. Like we had a really average-looking pool in my side of the apartment, but the other side, which is the swanky side, had like this awesome like beach-looking pool with a beach and everything.
Yeah.
So myself and the photographer broke in. We jumped fences and stuff to
I
get into their pool
love
to get
that.
that shot. Yeah.
Oh man,
To
that's
be
gangster.
Yeah.
Lisa Viola, you're such a gangster. Thank you so
Just
much.
do what I got to do.
Boom! Now this is going a long way back now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lisa
This is my
Viola.
first performance with you.
I would definitely say so because I suspect that this is 2013.
Yeah.
I was running Trademark
Yeah.
Fridays with a brother DK. This was the
That was a
beginning
good
of a
night.
long, fruitful business relationship with brother Deeks.
I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
Okay.
went on to I Love Saturdays and a million other things.
Yeah.
And these are some cool photos too. More cool photos
Yeah,
from a
these were
cool
great.
chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was my first professional photo shoot as a solo artist.
Oh, really?
And yeah,
So-
it didn't get much better than that. did
So
it?
this is the first single then.
No, this was actually the second single, I think, or I was about to release because that was the night that we went in the car and watched the first edit.
Okay.
So only my first single had been out. So you booked me based on my first single.
Okay,
You were a
awesome.
supporter from the beginning.
Thank you. Respect, man. It was good to be a part of that journey. Yes, to me. Hey, but okay, cool. But no, just because you were saying that about the first pro photo shoot, I thought it would be the first single. So before that,
It was the promo shot. It was a promo shoot for the first single, but
I get you.
yeah.
All right,
So
now I get
before
you.
every single, you do a promotional shoot, and that's what you
course.
send out like
Yeah,
via
yeah, no, I
EDM
get
or
you.
to all the blogs or whatever.
Yeah.
And that they were photos from that shoot, which I think were great because we got a lot of good posters out of those shots.
Definitely, and I like the shh.
The
Shut up,
shush,
haters.
yeah.
Shut up,
My
bitches.
friend did my makeup. I did my hair. The photographer
I love all of that.
charged me like $300 like under the table or something. It was great.
Thank you, Paulie.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a very
yes.
powerful photo.
Yeah. Look at these beautiful women.
Yes.
Wow.
What up, Gary?
Wow.
Talk about these ladies. Saya Banyana,
Saya Banyana, yes.
minus Tiana.
Well, Saya Banyana rebooted because the other two girls that were in Saya Banyana quit just before we shot this. Like,
Oh.
we fitted all the costumes and everything to them. And then they were like, you know what, we really don't want to do this group anymore. And that's what I was saying earlier
Yeah.
about the whole issue. And then the girls really wanted to keep the name and do the video and everything
Sure.
and do it as per it was.
Yeah.
So we got fill-ins, who were these two beautiful girls.
Sure.
And yeah, we couldn't continue after this.
Still looks very fierce.
I think it's great. I
Yeah.
kind of love this. This is so Pussycat Dolls fucking
Yeah.
in Africa.
Yeah. It's got like an African touch, but also that, Pussycat Doll, almost Mad Maxy even thing, especially you, like Tina Turner, kind of ripped and
I was so
angry.
ripped back then.
Yep.
I was so ripped. I remember I worked for 3 months, like non-stop. I was in the gym. I was running. I didn't drink alcohol. I was like going so hard. I was like, it's going to be my first video. I'm going to look amazing. And look what happened to my boobs. They all
you win in one way and you lose in another. That's life sometimes, right? It's very unfair.
But I remember people seeing
Great
this photo and like having something to say. They're like, oh, you need to stop now. And I was like, what?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, some people are easily intimidated by, a muscular female physique.
That's messed up. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. It's hard work.
Maniqua?
Maniqua? Love Maniqua.
Yeah.
She's doing her thing.
She's still doing her thing.
Went to her class not long ago and it was shit. But she's amazing. She's still doing her thing. She runs Sydney with the heels classes. Nadia went overseas and killed it. So she did So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah.
And then went overseas and she's still traveling, I think.
Is that the shorter girl on the left?
Little one, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen her.
Yeah. Kerry's married.
Shout out to Kerry. Kerry's one of my keyboard warrior fraternity. We fight people online.
Yeah, she was really outspoken with what's happening.
I love her, man. We're always like liking each other's shit.
I love that. You guys, you're 2 peas in a pod. I can see that. And then Eden, I don't really see that much anymore. I think she has her own business, and I think she has had a baby. And
who?
Eden.
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 Eden Desalane. Yeah.
She's still doing the braids.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So,
Next photo, please, Paulie. So much to look at.
Oh, it's baby Lisa. See, I've always had a big forehead. Look at that. Woo.
If you say so.
A big juicy brain in there.
That's what it is. Tick, tick, tick,
Exactly.
tick, tick. Very cute. What happened?
I don't know what happened.
Very beautiful, Lisa. This would be Perth days, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it was year.
We love showing the photos of like people when they were kids. It's good to like see, like
to see how much work we've had done.
No.
How much work do you think I've had done? Tell me.
Nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think I've had anything done?
Teeth.
Really?
Teeth.
Teeth. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Teeth.
Yeah, perfect teeth, Lisa Viola.
Thanks. They're
Rafa,
not
we're gonna
dentures.
have
They're still
to have a
my
chat
real
after
teeth.
this.
I just had them rearranged.
What do you want to chat about, bro?
Well, it's a guess, a beautiful guess, and you're saying she's had work done. Like,
no, just
listen,
my teeth.
brother.
Do you think that's right?
Listen,
as a guess?
this is my girl, man. We can be.
I asked.
We're good.
Didn't I ask?
Yeah,
But you'll be getting a warning letter.
Yeah, Paulie's one of them. Cancel culture, outrage, this, that, whatever. How dare you?
But let me tell you, there's not many women in my industry at my age that haven't had work done. So that's a constant battle you have to fight.
I would say that is a very accurate statement given on the amount of everything that's going on in that world, in our city in particular. Now here is Corinne.
This is Coco. This is one of her family gatherings.
Yes.
So that's her, one of her cousin's husbands, I think, behind us.
Sure.
Well, no, actually, maybe that's Sasha's. That's actually one of Sasha's family gatherings, which is Mauritian. So Mauritians are, they're all family.
I like Mauritian people.
I love Mauritian people.
Yeah,
I feel like
pretty
I'm
cool.
an honorary Mauritian. Say that fast. Honorary Mauritian.
Honorary Mauritian.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them in Sydney. Probably that's why, you've kind of
they all
gravitated
think that I'm one
towards.
of them.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And shout out to Coco, huge influence here in Sydney. Yeah. We already mentioned a bit about her, but used to be a singer, events promoter, almost like a nightlife identity, African culture, identity as well. So helped out a lot of people, gave a lot of people work, opened up a lot of doors, and just a big mama to everybody.
She takes everyone in. She takes in all the strays.
Yeah. She's got a big heart.
Her.
Shout out to Coco. And hopefully we'll get her on the show one day. That would be fucking amazing. An honor and a pleasure.
Get her in.
Merci.
Is that it? Are we done with photos?
Ooh.
The next one's going to be very embarrassing.
Okay, go ahead.
Jokes.
I think she wants to go home.
Oh, that's
Not
Boom! Another powerful shot.
Yeah. I love this shot.
I love this shot. This is amazing.
Yeah. I made those costumes.
Did you now? Mm-hmm. Man, I recognize everyone bar the third girl from the left.
Rita. So she was the new one. She was a fill-in.
Okay.
So what happened was when we got asked to do the TV show Everybody Dance Now, we were like, Rita was kind of someone that had come to Sydney and joined in the dance crew, and she did one of our biggest videos with us.
Okay.
But she lived in Perth.
Oh.
And that's how I knew Rita. So I was just like, come over and dance with us. And then whenever she was in Sydney, she would dance with us.
Sure.
And then when we got, she was a very strong dancer, and we were just like, when we did the TV show, Kerry knew she couldn't do it because she was working full time. So we needed another girl. So we got Rita.
Sure.
And so the 5 of us did the TV show. And that's this shoot obviously
Was for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
that's
for
cool.
that.
All the shades of brown there.
Yeah, and
Very
all different
beautiful.
countries. And she messed up the Saya thing because she was from Uganda. So we were like, how are we going to make Saya because she's from Uganda?
Say yo.
Yeah,
Say yo.
Or you say ya.
So you say ya. You say ya,
How
Banyana.
you
Yeah,
say ya, Banyana. It doesn't roll the same though.
No, but I
it's
think
close
that
enough.
would have been the way to go.
That would have been the way. Yeah, so she's great. She, I think, has her own school in Perth now.
Okay. Shouts to all the beautiful ladies,
girls,
talented ladies.
yeah.
Some of them still
And
at it.
Maxine's
some
doing
of them...
music now. I heard one of her tracks recently. It's not
I
bad.
must check this out.
Yeah,
I had no
she's got a good
idea.
little voice on her, but of course she's like Mike's sister, so
Yeah,
they're all very musical in that family.
indeed.
Yeah.
Now that you say it, man, I think I might have heard maybe seen something, but not properly anyway. So I'll check it out. She's another cool chick, very talented.
Yeah.
Done a lot of shows for my events as well through
Yeah?
Rhythm Brazil. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, because they did
yeah.
the Brazilian
Yeah, I love it when
samba.
she shows up.
Yeah.
Not for a little while now, but anyway.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon. Next photo, please, Paul.
She was a baby there. She was underage, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, she was a
Still
lot
in high
younger.
school
A lot
there.
younger
Yeah.
in the yeah.
Anyway. Oh, there we
Boom.
are.
Frisk ladies.
Frisk ladies.
Red room, baby.
Right there, we're getting perved at by Rafa and his mates
Yeah.
in the glass room behind us.
Good times.
Right. So Sasha's still one of my dearest friends.
She is a cool chick.
She is the shit.
Yeah,
She's
I don't
probably
know.
the
Look,
nicest person I know.
you know. I think. Look, from memory, and I'm always willing to accept that I'm wrong in this, but I think that the main sort of 2 or 3 times that we probably crossed paths,
Yeah.
she was heavily intoxicated.
Oh, really? She's Mauritian.
So I got this opinion of her as in no way bad, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
but
yeah.
every time I saw her, she was like mad
was a bit
loose and
loose.
like yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she'd
Yeah.
get really angry, and she's going to hate me for saying this, but she gets really angry when she's drunk too.
Oh really?
Everyone knows it. Everyone laughs
Yeah.
about it. Everyone likes, Sasha's angry again.
But anyway, I remember Sasha. I smiled because it was all good for me anyway.
She's one of the sweetest
Yeah.
women I know, and
Yeah.
the most supportive friend I've had, I think, in all the years. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Corinne, like I said, she's like my sister.
Yeah.
But like, you know, just that friend that from, you know, I don't always see her, and she moved away like, was it 4 years ago now to San Francisco?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Wow.
funnily enough, her partner is a radio host in San Fran.
Oh,
so
there you
he
go.
He does all this stuff.
Yes.
He does sports radio. He's quite well known there.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
And
Good
so
to hear.
yeah, so she's just the most supportive friend, like from day one. She
Yeah.
would be at my video shoots. She was at
Yeah.
Stop Me Cry. She was at Bounce.
Yeah.
Every video shoot
those
she could
those
come
are the
to.
times. I mean, around that era, with the only times really I would cross paths with her anyway.
Mm.
Not since, and obviously Red Room days and whatever. But really cool bunch of people. And look,
Mm.
obviously you don't know someone until you know them. But whatever I saw of that whole time and that scene, and at least professionally or at the events or as a crew or as a company, you guys were always cool. It was like a family environment,
Yeah.
and great looking people too. I mean, look,
Yeah.
Tiara,
Yeah.
beautiful, another beautiful woman.
Yeah.
And there were more, right? Because Frisk ladies, how many of them would have been?
Yeah, there was, I think, 8 or 9. But I mean, there was always a rotation, always
That's
a
right.
roster.
That's right.
And Corinne kept a pretty tight ship,
Yeah.
girls had to look good. We always had to be on
Yes.
brand. We always had to look nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was big on that, which was great.
Yeah, and it
So,
showed.
Yeah.
And it showed.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sasha.
Red
Shout
room,
out to
baby.
the beautiful Tiara.
Yeah, Tiara. She
Red
was
room,
stunning. I
baby.
just remember everyone would walk through the door and see her and be like, ah. She literally was like a living doll.
Yeah, myself included.
Yes.
Next photo, please. Get me out of trouble, Paul.
Let's go.
Didn't
That's
she
all right.
make,
You should be bragging, right? Look at your ex.
I'm not
Actually,
a
didn't
bad
she
You-
make
you
you
pull a lot of
wear
beautiful
a
women.
girl's outfit, Rafa?
What? Huh?
I think, yeah. Didn't she make you wear a girl outfit once?
Wow.
She made me wear a girl's outfit.
I made.
What fly on the wall were you,
What
Paulie?
for?
Oh, I just
Was it
remember
role
a post
play?
I saw years ago.
Nah, bro, you're talking about the French maid.
Bro, you said she made you wear it on your post.
Technically, that may be correct, even though it was peer pressure from many sides.
What was it for? Halloween?
Yeah.
Okay.
Halloween at one of the events that we used to run.
Oh.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember seeing you.
Yeah,
in
it
French
was
maid.
it was a thing. Like we obviously,
Yeah.
we always put things
But I
up
mean,
on
you
social
always used
media
to have
and
your shirt
everything.
off. Let's be real.
Around that time, yes.
Yeah.
No, but
I'm glad that's over. Thanks, Paulie.
No, but the short dress was a big problem on a very high stage. I've never had to experience that as a man.
Were you wearing jocks?
Yes, I was, thankfully.
Yes,
thankfully. But I was wearing these like diagonally stockings as well, and they were really tight, so it kind of felt like everything was being squeezed.
Right.
But never again, thankfully. Good times though, and awesome times looking back at that whole era, and we wish maybe there might be like a reunion or something. You know, that'd be awesome to go check out, I would say. I think a lot of people will come to something like that. So maybe when we speak to Goko soon, we'll
give them plenty of time so everyone can organise, you know.
Yes, babysitters.
Babysitters.
In Sydney, you got to give people a lot of time, a lot of, you know, because everyone's busy.
Right.
And speaking of busy, what can we expect now in the future from Lisa Viola?
I don't even know. I actually don't really know.
Sure.
I'm just trying to work it out.
Sure.
You know, so the acting thing is fun and it's good. So I'm still going to keep exploring that. But that's like anything in the arts. Like I try and be true to it. So if I'm going to do it, I want to do it well.
Do it properly,
And being on set was fun. There's a lot of waiting. It's not, you know, it's kind of, it's different. But yeah, I'd still love to perform. I still have like my own goals within music that I'd really like to reach. And I've stopped trying to tell myself that I have some sort of a time limit. And again, like I think it's a woman thing. It's like, oh, you have to get to a certain point, you know, and then it's too late or whatever.
It's a woman thing, but also, you know, if you look at the charts at least, it's a young man, young woman's game. Even though there's clearly a lot of people that have been there for a very long time, but generally, you know, you'd say that 75-80% of the music, if I was to give it a number, is sort of almost made for the 13 to 21-year-old market. Therefore, the artists making the music.
Which is interesting because there's just as many people, you know, in a 25 to 40-year-old market. So I think you just have to move with the times. So I'm obviously not going to be speaking on anything that 13, 21-year-olds
I'm with you 100%, yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the thing about the maturity. The music has to mature. I have to mature as an artist. I have to create stuff that people are going to want to listen to. And the beautiful thing about Spotify and having your own platform and channels is that you can collect that hub of people that identify with you and your age group or your whatever your cry is.
No doubt. I guess I was only making reference to the whole thing about hurry up, you know.
Right. But there's that pressure. Like ever since I was a kid, it was like, oh, you know, you've only got so many years in the industry, and I'm sorry, but like I'm seeing some dancers even, you know, and they're well into their 30s and they're doing commercial work and looking amazing and killing it.
Yeah, I think nowadays is kind of all the rules, let's say, are all out the window and anything goes. And that's probably one of the more positive aspects of the power of social media and the digital revolution, which gave us the ability to, you know, record with our phones and, you know, and all these things.
Got rid of the gatekeepers.
Yeah, they're still there, but nowhere near as powerful as before. And obviously, though, along the way, lots of content, right? Because that's almost like a constant. I'm sure you wake up some days and goes, today's the day I'm going to do something.
And that's the other thing. Like, you just feeling the pressure that you need to be doing stuff all the time. This year I've gone, you know what? If I don't feel like making content, I'm going to make content. You know, I do it when I feel it feels right, feels authentic.
Yeah, you're not a slave to it.
Yeah. And also adding value. Like, there's only so many selfies you can take. Like, and I'm even overlooking at myself. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, it just doesn't feel right anymore. And I think it's part of the revolution of it all. That for a while there we thought, oh, how great is this? We're just going to take photos of ourselves and how great do we look? And, you know, but now it's more like, okay, well, I don't know, I don't personally just want to see someone's selfie and go, wow, they look nice, double tap. I want to see something that's going to like make me...
I hear you very loud and clear. I think, you know, we've all been through that stage. I've done all the selfies and dumb shit and it's like, look at me, or how do I put myself in that, whatever is going on behind me. But it's a balancing act, I think, because you know, many people, I've been told a million times, you got to do more this and you got to do more that and you got to show yourself more and you got but I actually prefer content that with a meaning or content that's truly interesting beyond just the imagery, as in, you know, what substance is behind this. Okay, cool, you're a beautiful woman, you got a nice body, or okay, bro, you go to the gym and you're ripped and whatever, but so what?
Yeah.
What's behind it? What's the meaning? What's the purpose?
Mm-hmm.
And equally, though, there's a lot of things that are just, a lot of people are just nice to look at. That's been like that forever, and
that's fine too.
That's fine
too.
too.
Yourself, do it, but I just feel like it's not
no extremes.
Not always.
Not always, yeah. No extremes, yeah. There's got to be a bit of
bit,
substance.
yeah.
So we're on the same page again,
Yeah.
Miss Viola. Thank you so much. Well, tell everyone at home if they want to check you out, check out your music. Where can they find you? What's the best place to do that?
I'm always on Instagram.
Sure.
Just Instagram at Lisa Viola.
Yep.
LISAVIOLA.
Sure.
That's where I mainly am. I do have Facebook and I do have Twitter and all the others.
And YouTube. I mean, where do people? So on Spotify.
Yeah. Well, look, if you go to my Instagram, there's just click the link in my bio,
Sure.
and that'll take you to like all of my links. So if you want to see videos, go to video. If you want to see what I'm doing, like from a anthropology, whatever, like click on that. So there's always just like stuff going on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, you guys know what to do. Check out the beautiful Lisa. I want to thank you for joining us. This was actually really cool. Pretty bad.
I think
Pretty
so
good?
too.
Yeah?
It was amazing.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much.
And when you
Good
asked
to
me,
hear.
I was like, you're going to ask me, why am I so interesting?
You know what, Lisa? Yeah, I think, again, going back to the thing that because we don't do this a lot in general.
Yes.
But you know what I'm really hoping? I'm hoping that I believe in the theory of abundance, not the theory of scarcity. I think that, that there's enough to go around for everybody. So hopefully soon we'll have a lot more of these podcasts within the community.
Exactly.
And then it's almost like a circuit where, you'll come here and I'll go somewhere else. And then, and then you'll go to the other one. And and then the cool thing about that is people reference each other a lot. Like, I heard that Lisa say, wasn't that cool? She said it here or whatever. We don't have that yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is our little grain of sand over here, and other people can take up the challenge or take up fly the flag.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very much needed.
It is.
And it's all good. It's all positive,
Yeah.
It's fun for me. It's fun for most people that have joined me. And then equally as important is the responsibility for us to do justice to people's stories. And I love this one. This has been really fun. Thank you, Lisa. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much for asking me and
Obrigado.
having me here. Obrigado. Nada.
And you know where we are for your next release of whatever that may
Absolutely.
be.
Yeah.
SBS news presenter or single
Whatever
or I don't know, for some
thank
reason
you.
as I was talking to you, people was like, why isn't this woman on SBS?
SBS, do you think so?
Oh, that kind of thing where, because
Okay.
really, the other channels, you don't think of the other channels and think, a beautiful brown sister. Most of them, it's what it is. It is what it is, right?
It's getting better.
It is, but most of the brown people are on SBS,
or
ABC,
Yeah.
or the Expansion Podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And I
Thank you,
really,
Lisa.
when I said that to you, I remember thinking,
Yeah.
why is it that interesting?
Man, it's all
and
about you.
No,
You've done
but
amazing
then you
things.
said to me, which really resonated, was,
Yeah.
there's not enough of us doing this in the community where we're
Yeah.
actually, lifting each other up and
Sure.
giving them a platform to go look at all the amazing things you've
That's
done.
what we're doing.
And that's part of the problem with, the industry here. So,
Yeah.
and I'm really grateful that you said that and that
Yeah.
you're doing it and you're a man of action. You're
Thank you.
Paulie. And
Paulie's
really,
all right.
really appreciate
Yeah.
you because it's always about how we can better the next lot of people. that wanna
Definitely,
come
man.
through and
Yeah,
do
yeah.
this
And
as
it's
well.
cool and enjoy the ride. And there's plenty for everybody. And there's no need to sort of, envy or hate or try and pull each other down. It's all good. And we're here. So again,
Thank you.
thank you. Muchas gracias.
Bye.
And thank you to our foundation sponsors, Q Corp Construction. Thank you so much, man. And Crash Claim, meeting new friends by accident. Expansion Podcast, supported by Variant Collective, our content creators. And my man, Paulie B. Thank you, my brother. God bless. Nothing to say?
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah, good on you, buddy.
You've been so quiet. I was expecting more banter.
Something wrong. It's because it's a bit late for him, I think. He goes to bed at 8:30, that's
We
why.
just couldn't get a word in because we were just like, blah, blah,
Yes,
blah, blah.
I think that's probably more it, Lisa. Thank you so much, guys. God bless. Muchas gracias. Ciao. Ciao. Whoop, whoop.
Yes.
Thank you, Lisa. How do you feel?
Wow. Whew. Hot.
Pretty cool, right? Yeah, it
I'm
is
like,
a bit
was I
warm in here,
sweating?
eh?
Could you see my sweat?
No.
Oh my God.
We would have said something. I'm waiting for Paulie.
Sorry, so can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Paulie.
Yeah, so
Yes,
what would you sing
Paulie.
about me?
We would sing,
Riding on my horse one day.
yeah. To Girl.
Okay.
Took the wrong
Did you
driveway.
roll? I was waiting for Paulie.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds really good, I think.
Thank you
could do
very much.
country.
I know. That's what I've been thinking too. See,
Well, thanks for
Paulie,
the end
Live
of
in
the
the
credits,
country, country
video.
live in the country,
music,
country
it just
music. Things are
goes.
changing, man. I was gonna get myself one of those pickup trucks,
Yeah, pickup truck. Yeah, do it.
something like that. Paulie, we ready?
We've been recording the whole time.
He done it to us again, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa.
Oh,
Not you. No, whoa.
just a little thing that we have to do.
Expansion.